Welcome to the 66th convention of Phi Kappa Tau. Please welcome to the stage Phi Kappa Tau CEO, Matt Arnold.
Welcome to Orlando, everybody. How is everybody right now? Well, it's good to see you. It's good to see the spirit of brotherhood thriving as we couldn't get you in your seats because you're so happy to see one another. It's wonderful. Welcome to the 66th National Convention of Phi Kappa Tau. We are super excited to finally be here. There's been a lot of work and preparation and dedication for this to be one of the most exciting, most memorable events that we've had in history. You know, and I hope you packed your sunscreen, although it doesn't look like today was necessarily the day for that, as I think the last time I went by, it looked like it was a little rainy, but I'm looking for good weather tomorrow on our excursion to Universal Studios. Tonight, we gather to celebrate the strength and the brotherhood of this great fraternity. We have a remarkable lineup of distinguished individuals joining us, and I just wanted to go ahead and give them a special welcome as we kick off this great event. The first group of people that I want to recognize, and we'll celebrate them as we are here all this week, but that's our former national presidents. So we have a few of them that are going to be here. Some of them are already here tonight. Some of them will be here later. But I want to go ahead and recognize those individuals. Charlie Ball. I think I saw Charlie over here, back in the back. Bill Crane, he'll be here later. Stephen Nelson. Rick Keltner, I've seen him somewhere. Rick. There he is. Mike Davila, I think he's back here in the back. And Dale Holland, who will be here later this week. Is he here? Greg Hellmeyer, there he goes. Where is he at? Back here in the back. Somewhere. All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for your love and dedication to the fraternity and coming back year after year after year. Those guys have long ladder bars. Next, I want to welcome our National Council, Michael French, Ray Carlos, John Hayes, Ricky Bailey, Scott Brown, and Andy Fruth. Trustees. And so I'd like to warmly welcome them to our 66th National Convention. Chairman Doug Adams, Vice Chairman Ray Cox, Jack Alvinus, Jim Bacon, John Sayers, Tim Collins, Chad Corbett, Bill Fisher, Rob Reese, Stephen Martino, I think I just watched him come in, Mike Bickamer, J.J. Lewis, there he is, Alan Shaw, Dave Lipinski, and Jeff Barrick. Did I miss anybody? I think I got everybody there. All right, I'd also like to give a warm welcome to all those that serve as alumni volunteers, whether you've served as a Graduate Council, Board of Governors, Housing Corporation, or all of the above, we'd just like to say thank you for being here and dedicating your summer time to be here with our undergraduates and to help move our fraternity forward. We actually have almost 300 Phi Taus that will be here over the span of the next 4 days. But there's one group that I haven't shared with, and I don't want us to forget about our undergraduate brothers. How about those guys? These are the men that are the driving force of our great fraternity right now, leading us into the future. And so, gentlemen, we appreciate your dedication and your passion for being here with us today. So I mentioned a little bit about the ladder bars. And so for you guys, how many guys here are coming to a national convention for the very first time? Raise your hand if you're here for the very first time. Yeah, look at that, a lot of guys. So just like when you became an associate member, there was sort of a first step. And so in the thought of the convention and kind of your gateway to the national convention is your ladder bar that you got when you registered. And you're going to find that there are men with great links that have been to a few of these conferences. We're going to celebrate them at our brotherhood banquet on Saturday. But what it represents is this lifelong brotherhood. So we are just thankful for them to be here. And just a quick thank you for those who have many, many, many bars on their ladder. It's the connections that you will make this week. It's the connections that you will have. And I would encourage all of us to meet other brothers and just really get a chance to fulfill and understand the true brotherhood that we have together as Phi Taus. So, with that said, we have our invocation and our creed coming up.
Please welcome David Lipinski.
Our brotherhood is gathered again in convention, a time to renew old friendships and make new acquaintances, a time to remember past achievements and to help to determine the future of our fraternity. May our time here together be one that has fellowship, charity, and wisdom. May our actions and decisions be based on what is best for Phi Kappa Tau and not on a personal basis. We may not always agree with each other, but we are bound by our oath to always treat each other as a brother. For this is what a fraternity man is. Please rise for the creed. Phi Kappa Tau, by admitting me to membership, has conferred upon me a mark of distinction which I take just pride. I believe in the spirit of brotherhood for which it stands. I shall strive to attain its ideals, by so doing to bring us honor and credit. I shall be loyal to my college and my chapter, and I shall keep strong the ties to them that I ever retain the spirit of youth. I will be a good and loyal citizen. I shall always try the obligation to others, rise from the fact that I am firmly man. Thank you. You may be seated.
Please welcome Phi Kappa Tau National President, Mike McCrum.
Oh man, oh man, oh man, my brothers. Oh, it's so good to see you. It is what a feeling you get when you step into a room full of Phi Taus, full of brothers from all over the country. Brothers, we've come from all over this country to be with each other, to shake hands, to give abrazos, to exchange smiles and connect with each other, to reminisce with those that we haven't seen in a while, to meet and to get to know brothers that we don't know yet. We're here to experience our connection together again. And that's what I really want to talk about tonight, to experience our brotherhood, because that underlies everything that we should do, every way we look at a problem or an issue. A brotherhood where we inspire each other, honor each other, listen to another's concerns, and also challenge each other, but all within the spirit of brotherhood, the love of brotherhood. We are here to appreciate each other and, yes, to love each other. My brothers, we have all come a long way from all over this country to exercise brotherhood in its purest form, to be lifting each other up with everything we do, to encourage each other, congratulate each other, celebrate each other. We must always, though, be ready to humble ourselves, not tear against each other or tear each other down, but actually and figuratively get below one another and lift our brother up. This week, each one of us has come from a place that you call home. But you know what this week, brother? Our home is not in that place. Our home is not even in this hotel or this convention room. This week, my brothers, it is my firm belief that our home is in each other. Our shared home is in the cardinal principles to which each one of us has dedicated our heart. A real, true belief in who we are as a brotherhood. Something between us that we can hold on to, that we can hang on to. Brothers, we share a home that wants all of us to inspire and lift each other up with a vision and a hope, a sense of optimism about who we are and what we do, not pessimism. A brotherhood of brotherly love, of affection, of humility, a brotherhood that is built to last. Brothers, you are my brothers. It's almost simplistic to say that, maybe even to hear it. But think about the profound, deep meaning of that. You are my brothers. You are each other's brothers. We're not just members of the same fraternity that we happen to have joined at our respective schools. We're actually brothers. I love you. Is that weird to hear from a guy at a fraternity convention? I love you. I care for you. We may not always be happy with what another brother does or says or doesn't do or shouldn't do, but don't we always, should always return to the fact that we love each other as brothers. Just moments ago, a brother that I was talking with shared something deeply personal in his life to me. The fact that he would decide to share that with me is profound to me. The fact that we as brothers will always be there to defend one another against the winds of this world. Isn't that the world that we as Phi Taus want to live in? I am your brother. I may disappoint you, and please forgive me if I have. But please know that I consider yourself your brother. I consider myself your brother. And I'm in this room because I believe that each one of us have that relationship with each other, that connection with each other. Each one of us shares the most special moments of our ritual. We all remember it. We all remember what happened in those ritual exercises, the words that were said, the things that we saw, the things that we felt with each other. Those things are just not for that afternoon. Those things are a lifetime of connection between us. And above all, the most important thing to me is for us to hold on to that as we walk forward as brothers, walk through this convention and after. It is the foundational basis of how we treat each other as a brotherhood, how we think about each other, how we conduct ourselves in our business that we have to do, how we lift each other up, not tear each other down. You know, I'm reminded of my 2-year-old grandson, Silas. The other day, my wife bought and gave him a red-colored Jeep. The Jeep was about 5 inches long, which is a real small kind of thing where he could hold and walk around with. And she gave it to him because it's a Jeep Wrangler. That's what I drive. And through the course of his young life, the last year or so that he's been aware of things going on, he's come to know my Jeep that I drive around as Papa's Jeep. He talks about it all the time. He loves to ride in it. I put him in my lap and we ride around the neighborhood, and he loves it. And so my daughter later told me the other day that Silas holds on to that Jeep with everything that he's got. He wants to go to sleep with it. He announces again and again, my Jeep, my Jeep. Now, I'm sure that some child development expert, maybe even in this room, might tell me that you should teach this young boy the importance of sharing with others, that it's not my Jeep. But I'm thinking, let him take that stand. Because when he holds it close and loudly says, my Jeep, he's showing boldness in something that he holds so much value in. It's a stand of strength, of devotion. And it is in this light that I boldly, with all the devotion I can feel, that I can say to you and to anyone who will hear me, you are my brothers. You, everyone in this room, everyone that I might have had a difficult word with, everybody that thinks poorly of what I've done or not done, you are my brothers. To the one who compliments me, to the one who chastises me, to the one who lifts me up, to the one that doesn't feel like lifting me up. My brother. We together, our brothers. I've been at Phi Tau for 50 years. I was an associate member in the fall of 75, and I know Phi Tau love when I see it, when I feel it. These past 2 years, I've had the blessing of witnessing and embracing brotherhood all across this country. I've traveled to several dozen chapters, met with undergrads, some of which are here tonight. It reminded me that we visited together for hours. I visited the meetings of graduate councils, BOG, housing corporations. I visited chapter reunions and chapter anniversary celebrations of 50, 60, 75, and 100 years. Visiting charterings and new associate chapter installations. I've attended and participated in educational conferences, town halls, initiations, national council meetings, foundation trustee meetings, resident council meetings, national committee meetings, funeral services, chapter eternal services. I remember sitting in a chapel in the light of candles as young brothers reminisce the life of their brother who took his own life. I even had the honor and blessing of attending a Sunday morning church service with a brother, the past national president here tonight, on one of my fraternity trips. And for all of this experience, and undergrads and others who have not had that opportunity, the reason I describe the extent of my involvement with brothers these past 2 years, what I came away with is an unmistakable sense that our brotherhood is strong. Our national brotherhood, our local brotherhood. We've been built to last. Some weeks ago, I sent out an 8-page letter on the details of our state of our fraternity. If you've not had a chance to read it, one of the topics I addressed was our recruitment. Do you know that from the summer of 2023, when I was elected office and our council began, from the summer of 2023 across the next 2 years until now, we've seen an approximate 22% recruitment growth. That's a huge jump. Yeah. Listen to this. On membership of our total membership of our undergrads from 2021 to 23, we saw less than a 2% growth in overall membership. But between 23 and now, we've increased this percentage to over 17% growth in membership. For the first time in the past 30 years, we are experiencing an average chapter size of above 50 members per chapter. That's huge. But listen to this. Just 2 weeks ago, we received notice from the NIC, the National Interfraternity Council, that Phi Tau was the fastest growing large fraternity in the country among all the dozens of fraternities in the NIC. That's huge. The fastest growing. That's who you are. That's who we are. We should be proud of that. But let's not stop there. Let's look at chapter expansion and growth. Between 21 and 23, we opened 4 new associate chapters. That's great. But in the last 2 years, between 23 and now, we doubled that to 8 new associate chapters. We're not finished. We have worked to confirm 9 new associate chapters in the coming semesters. 5 of those chapters are returns to campuses where our chapters have closed. 4 new associate chapters are to universities that we've never had chapters. On our educational program, think about the remarkable thing that we've seen in the last 2 years. Between 21 and 23, we had 298, about 300 attendees at a limited number of conferences. But in the last 2 years, we increased that number 195% to almost 900 attendees, and we double the number of regional conferences. That's huge. That's something that we can embrace and be proud of. Two years ago at the 23 convention, there was a concern expressed about financial transactions. Rightly so. There was a call for financial transparency, and we listened to that call. In the last 2 years, we've taken undeniably strong steps toward ensuring financial transparency and financial integrity. Our council created and put in place an unprecedented transparency policy. This was to give all of you, all of us, the members, full access to our financial transactions, our minutes, our audits. You deserve to know, and now you can know. That's huge. But we didn't stop there. Let's look at the multiple things we did to enhance our financial integrity and position. We established a new National Financial Advisory Committee. We didn't have a committee like this when we started in 23. We created a committee to have alumni experts who are experts in the financial field, in finance, accounting, to have stronger accountability so they can look at everything that we're doing, look at our books, and make recommendations. We are soliciting advice from alumni experts. And upon their recommendation, and a new Alumni Financial Advisory Committee, we approved and put into place 5 new policies of financial integrity. We arranged in these past 2 years to have 2 new accounting firms complete full audits and reviews of our documents. And this includes, for the first time in the last 11 years, we've performed an audit of the books of Old Main Holdings, something also that was raised at the 23 convention. But we didn't stop there. Over the course of the last 2 years, we implemented new and bold efforts never before in existence, as well as reinvigorating operational strategies which had laid dormant for a while, for years. Let me give you examples. We instituted a new approach to the mental health of all of our brothers by forming an alumni committee of experts in that field, and we put into place their recommendations. We started a new approach and strategy to housing issues, establishing a national housing committee composed of Phi Tau alumni who are experts in this field. This has led to an exciting new national strategy, which you're going to hear about during this convention. We also invited an analysis of our technology, our systems of communications. That's also from an alumni expert in the field. And we're in the planning stages to accept these recommendations and make our communication systems even better. We created a new approach to alumni retention, an idea that was formed that not only alumni engagement is important, but alumni retention for these brothers that are graduating. guidance for our chapters and how to keep them involved. That committee's ideas and suggestions, by the way, has led to an entirely new, innovative approach to our domain director program that you're going to learn about in this convention. For anybody that thinks that said that the concept of the domain director program is trying to be thrown away or killed or anything else, you're wrong. That's just not the facts. We're grabbing hold and embracing everything that was beautiful and strong and productive about that program, and we're revitalizing it in a way that fits a modern approach and is more flexible, that solicits more involvement by alumni. That program's not dying. It's now having a rebirth that's beautiful, and you're going to hear about what that is. We've also increased our emphasis on chapter support and participation in Serious Fun. That's one of the reasons why we chose Orlando, because it's driving distance to one of the Serious Fun camps. We wanted everybody to go to that camp. Unfortunately, they could only hold 55, but that's okay. We'll at least get undergrad brothers who don't have yet an experience with that to understand why that's so important to our philanthropy and service initiatives. We also, we got a Serious Fun. Love it, love it. We also, in the last 2 years, returned to a revitalized consultant program in our executive office operations, including a return to chapter visits that had been killed and dead. We're now having our consultants go out to the chapters, every one of our chapters across the country, to help out. We took a hard look at gaps in our governance structure on the council. We worked aggressively to put in place over a dozen new policies and procedures to give clear guidance to our CEO and our membership on operational issues. No longer is one man going to be having purse strings to do what he wants to do. No, sir. That's not the way to operate an organization of our size. We want financial integrity. Not that anybody questions our CEO, but we have these procedures in place now that we can have confidence in, that we can have trust in. Response by the call of action by the 23 convention, we created a committee of brothers also with the collective experience of over 200 years in Phi Kappa to review our Constitution and statutes. We've worked hard also the last 2 years to improve and revitalize our relationship with the Phi Kappa Foundation. You're going to be amazed in this convention. I'm not exaggerating. You're going to be amazed of where we are now with the foundation. The steps that the foundation have taken, important steps to improve our brotherhood in a dramatic way. You wait and see. I don't want to spoil the surprise, but it's coming and you're going to be excited about it. All bold, affirmative steps taken in good faith to make our brotherhood stronger. Now, all that being said, I'm no fool. Well, maybe I am. I'm fool enough to think that we can be the greatest, and we are the greatest fraternity in this country. But am I fool enough to think that we should stop right there? No. Are we where we want to be yet as a fraternity? No. Are there still concerns about some issues? Sure. That'll always be the case in such a large organization as ours. Am I or anyone on the council perfect? Is our staff perfect? Absolutely not. There's still work to be done. But it cannot be denied by any reasonable person that we are so much closer to a stronger brotherhood, so much closer to where we want to be than where we were 2 years ago. And despite what anyone might want to say or cast a negative light, I believe in my heart, and frankly the statistics, the higher degree of financial review and integrity, the new transparent governance structure, all the backup that we've talked about, all the new things, we are in a much better position in our fraternity than we were 2 years ago. And we are more encouraged now than ever to build upon that, to address those issues where we still are not hitting the mark. Our CEO, our incoming national president, Brother Loomis, seated right over there, and our returning council members all want this. They all welcome new and fresh ideas. I believe that. You may not think that based on your history in the past. Open your heart to believe that it now is different. We want to push forward with new and creative ways to make our brotherhood stronger. But you know, it's not just the strategies or the policies or the account balances or the numbers that define our strength as Phi Taus. I mean, I'm convinced, and aren't you, that it's only through our acceptance and embracing of how much we truly see each other as brothers that makes the difference in our brotherhood, that sets us apart from others? Is there still a degree of dissatisfaction or frustration or questions on some issues? Of course, there should be. We should always and continually be exploring ways to better our brotherhood. But this underlying groaning for something better, it's there to push us to be better. When we reach a fork in the path of our progress, we choose a direction that will bring us closer to each other, to embrace the unity and loyalty of our fellowship, the knowledge that we together can lift each other up, the strength of our truth as brothers. Our groan should never define us. Rather, our groan helps us find who we truly are and who we truly want to be and where we want to go. Ours is a brotherhood drawn from wisdom in the reservoir of the past, listening to those who have gone before us, who have managed this fraternity in different ways. This leads to the acknowledging and the embracing of frankly, the good that is today, all of which will then kick us forward to realize a powerful vision of the future. At a deep level, isn't that why we're together in this room today? Now, we're going to elect officers this week. There's vice president position open, and there's 2 council members open. Good brothers stepping up as volunteers to serve us. We're going to have also the opportunity to re-examine the language of the Constitution, which has steered our fraternity for 89 years. Since 1936, our Constitution and statutes have been amended no less than 36 times. And despite the best intentions of all of these revisions, they've resulted in documents that are confusing to understand and review, a document which is disorganized, a document with vague clauses that leave open room for dissension, documents where sections dealing with the same topic are scattered in different places. So 2 years ago at the 23 convention, a body of delegates, including many past national presidents, called for a re-examination of this Constitution. So we formed a committee of 6 very experienced brothers with a collective Phi Tau experience of several hundred years. They met dozens of times, spent dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of hours, looking long and hard at our Constitution. They carefully examined best practices in the industry of what other fraternities are doing. And you're going to hear the report of this committee. Ultimately, this committee made recommendations to the council, who then, with all of their dozens of years of experience, thoroughly reviewed and analyzed the committee's recommendation. The result is recommendations for amendment from a collective 14 very experienced brothers to do 2 things. Consider amending some provisions in how we manage our fraternity and elect our officers. And 2, consider reorganizing this Constitution in a way that it's much easier to understand and apply to our daily existence. Now, these have all been published to you. In the true spirit of our chapter involvement, several chapters offered changes to those amendments. And so this coming Friday, you're going to be asked some questions on these different issues that go to the heart of how we manage each other, how we live with each other, how do we choose new leaders. Some of you may not like one proposed change. Some of you may not like another. Some of you are inclined to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm going to ask you to please be patient to hear the underlying reasons of why these recommendations are before you. You know, some of these changes are very interesting. You know, I've heard it said how a lot of members want to have a stronger voice in the control of their fraternity. It is in this context that I think these proposals are going to come before you. How much input do you want, for example, in the election of your national president? How much input do you want? When a convention comes up, do you want the opportunity to choose whether to re-elect a national president if he's doing a great job? Let's say Brother Loomis in the next 2 years becomes as good a president as Roland Maxwell ever thought about being. Let's say that we've seen results from his leadership in the council that we are so happy to have had. And you as delegates come back to this convention and you say, you know what, I want to re-elect that young man to national president, if he's willing to do it. I can easily see me wanting to do it. That man's a star over there. He's got a great heart for Phi Tau. Brilliant as the day is long. But under a present constitution, I won't be able to re-elect him. That's not permitted. President serves one term of 2 years. That's it. And then, as like I was told today, after Saturday, I will be Mike who? That's one of the issues before you this coming Friday, is to revise the Constitution in a way that it gives you, the delegates, your voice as to whether or not you want the vice president to send to the presidency, or do you want to re-elect the current then national president, or do you want to bring in a third guy and elect him? It gives you the voice on to do that. Otherwise, our Constitution leaves it up to a majority of the council, which is 4 votes. That's the kind of thing that's going to be before you on these revisions of these things. I could go through each one of them, and I'm happy to. But I think you get the idea. You know, in 23, and all through 24 and into 25, as I said, I was blessed with the opportunity to speak at educational conferences and charterings and chapter anniversary celebrations. And there's a story that I told. And I would assume that some of y'all who said, I think I met a couple brothers that went to Zenith and stuff where I told this story. It's a story of a rabbi who's taken a walk in 1st century AD. He was deep in meditation as he was taking his walk, and he missed a left turn that would have taken him back home. And before realizing, he wandered directly in front of a Roman garrison. And there's a Roman centurion standing out front. And the centurion boomed down to him 2 questions. Some of you guys are smiling. I think y'all remember the 2 questions. Who are you? Why are you here? The rabbi was taken aback and said, what are you talking about? Who are you and why are you here? So the rabbi thought about it and says, you know what? How much are you paid to ask me those 2 questions? And the guard was purportedly a little bit bewildered and said, I get paid 2 drachma each week. To which the rabbi said, I'll pay you twice that amount if you'll stand outside my home and ask me those same 2 questions every morning when I come out. I told that story at conferences and charterings to ask our brothers the same 2 questions. Who are you and why are you here? And I wanted our young brothers to think about why they chose to be in this brotherhood of ours. How does it help define them? Why are they really here? Is it just a social event among guys, or is it a formation of a brotherhood that lasts a lifetime? And so tonight, I want to contemplate and discuss the story as it goes from there and leave you with this. In the 32nd chapter of Genesis, there's a historical narrative. It's provided me guidance a lot in my life. It tells a story of Jacob, who encountered struggles where he lived. He was frustrated about some things, and he wanted to go back to his homeland. And so ultimately, it was time for him to go. He took his family and people working for him. And along the way, he learned that he was going to confront his brother who he had troubles with. Similar to in this room, frankly, where we have troubles with our brothers from time to time. He and his brother had experienced some conflict, and so Jacob knew what was going to be asked of the workers as they approached. And so he sent them ahead, and he says, my brother's going to ask you 3 questions. And he ultimately did. Who do you belong to? Where are you going? And who owns all these things in your possession? As I thought about it, I thought this story in recent years of our fraternity life, let's say the last 10 years, is not that much different. Brothers have expressed frustration, and there's a desire to return to the homeland of peace, success, love, trust. And as I consider these things and what we're going to be discussing this week, I'm compelled to think of these 3 questions. Who do you belong to? Well, I belong to you, my brothers. I'm here to serve you. I'm here not to tear you down. I want to lift you up. I may not agree with you, but I love you. And I want to work together in a spirit of brotherhood. Who do you belong to? I belong to you. Where are you going is the second question. I mean, what are you wanting to do? Where are you going? Where do you want this to progress? Are you trying to go to a place of deeper love for each other in everything you're doing and saying and the way that you're saying it? Because that's the place that I want to go. The third question is, who owns all of these things in our possession as a fraternity? We can look around and consider what we have. We have an executive office building. We have historical treasures that sit in a museum that are beautiful to look at, inspiring. We have support network of people. We have bank accounts with a lot of money. We have a brotherhood rooted in cardinal principles, things that we talk about in our initiation ceremonies and other rituals. But more than that, we have a love for each other, don't we? Who owns all of these possessions that we have? Everything belongs to us. It's all for us if we want to embrace it. Do we? In kicking us off on this journey this week, I recommend that we keep in mind the hearts several things. First, look around the room and know that you're home in each other. Second, in difficult moments, we should continue to ask ourselves, who do I belong to? Where will we be going? As we consider all the things we've been blessed to enjoy in each other in our shared fraternal history, let us remember that it belongs to us all. Where there's difficulty, let us take steps of reconciliation. Let's move closer to a place of trust. Let's bear each other's burdens. This is not pie in the sky stuff. This is not just silly talk. This is real. It's a relationship. That's why we've come this far. That's why we're here. Let's live it. In all that we do, let us put our brother's interest ahead of our own, with a willingness to humble ourselves before and beneath each other, with a willingness not only to show respect for each other, but kindness and love. My brother, there's an appointed time for everything, as you know. There's a time to tear down, but there's a time to build up. There's a time to throw stones, but there's also a time to gather stones. There's a time to tear apart and a time to sew together. This week, my brothers, there's a time to heal past frustrations and distrust. Let's take that reservoir of wisdom from the past, use it to embolden us toward more and deeper love for each other. This can be a time to let negative experience and conversation die, and in place of that, to give birth to a new form of brotherly love. I thank you so much, my brothers, for the honor of being allowed to serve you as your national president. It has been one of the most greatest and special events of my life. Thank you, my brothers. Have a seat. Well, guess what? going to have a great moment of love right now. As you guys know, we have an award here. It's the highest chapter honor that we can give. It memorializes a great brother that I mentioned just a little while ago, Roland Maxwell, Southern California of 22. He was our national president for 25 years. Started in 1934. I would imagine about 10, 12 years after he became associated with the fraternity. Young man, all the way to 59. He's the author of our creed that we just stood and professed belief in about the spirit of brotherhood. He's a former North American Interfraternity Council chairman, winner of the NIC Gold Medal for Distinguished Service, and it is his honor that we judge a chapter's ability to meet expectations, considering a lot of great things, how a chapter does toward the Borodale, other factors. Well, tonight, we're not going to announce who won the Maxwell. That's for later in the convention. But what we are going to announce is the Founders Four. And so, as we all know, that's the precursor to awarding the Maxwell Award. That's the top, judged to be the top four awards, four chapters in our country. And so these finalists, they'll actually be giving their presentations tonight after we do a couple other things. And so we're going to get the opportunity to listen to these brothers. Now here's what I'd like everybody to think about. Once we're going to come up, take a picture of Shane. Oh, okay, that's great, final four. But what I think is going to be really special is when in about an hour or so, we're going to have each of these chapter representatives stand up here and talk about their chapter for I think 20 minutes each. Yeah, the microphone. Okay. They're going to talk about their chapters, and there's two things that I take away from there. There may be four, maybe more that you do. But number one, it's we want to celebrate and congratulate these brothers for their accomplishment in being Founders Four, right? That's cool. As brothers, we want to love on them and celebrate them and lift them up and say, man, you guys are doing great. I'm really not happy we aren't part of the Founders Four, but I'm really happy for you. But the second thing I think that is really important for all of us in here, both undergrads and grads and advisors and council members and everybody, is that we will have the opportunity to listen to four different chapters of how they live life as Phi Taus, so that it can't help but add to our reservoir of wisdom. And so it's going to be a very, very cool thing. I can't wait to happen. But come on up, Matt. Let's give these presentations to these four chapters.
Thank you, Mike. This year, we had a record number of chapters who participated in applying for the Maxwell Award. I think if I got the numbers correctly, we were up like 40% on those applications. I think that speaks well into the strength of our fraternity over the last 2 years, because I can tell you a couple years ago it felt like we were prying guys to fill out these applications. There's a renewed sense of chapter pride and brotherhood and strength, and it's really exciting to be a part of that and to see that chapters see themselves as a flagship chapter not only on their campus but within our brotherhood. And so it's with that we want to recognize these four chapters. The first chapter to be recognized is the Kappa chapter at the University of Kentucky. Kappa chapter has demonstrated a dominance in recruitment, new member orientation, finances, service, and philanthropy, and have been a premier fraternity on the Kentucky campus. They've increased and become very strategic in their relationships with all of the philanthropy and their partnerships, and dedicated themselves to their serious fun endeavors. It's with this we say congratulations to Kappa chapter. Our next Founders 4 chapter, Gamma Beta at the University of Cincinnati. The Gamma Beta chapter has re-envisioned their chapter experience. Historic recruitment and growth, outstanding service and commitment to their campus. They put a rededication into their chapter house, making it a centralized place for their brotherhood. Congratulations to Gamma Beta. Our next chapter, Upsilon from Nebraska Wesleyan. Upsilon has been a strong positive reputation on the campus, respected by faculty, staff, students for their integrity and academic success, as well as their values-driven leadership. They are a highly involved brotherhood that have leaders in student government, orientation programs, athletics, you name it. Congratulations to Upsilon. Our next chapter, Beta Beta at the University of Louisville. Beta Beta has been successful in their last year, raising thousands of dollars with the Louisville Dance Show, co-hosted with Delta Zeta. They've raised $13,000 for a dance marathon. They are recognized all across campus with strong alumni, leadership, philanthropy, and service. Congratulations to Beta Beta. Congratulations to all four of those chapters, and we look forward to their presentations this evening.
Please welcome Phi Kappa Tau National Vice President Michael Loomis.
Good evening, brothers. Have you ever found yourself wondering, what is Phi Tau up to? Or where are we headed? Or better yet, how can I help? If so, I hope to shed some light tonight on our brotherhood strategy. So welcome to Phi Kappa Tau's bold new strategic plan. Since 1906, Phi Kappa Tau has been more than just a fraternity. It's indeed a lifelong commitment to brotherhood, learning, ethical leadership, and exemplary character. Imagine a transformative journey that begins when you meet your first Phi Tau brother and extends until chapter eternal. That's the Phi Kappa Tau experience. And our new strategic plan, it's your blueprint for a stronger and more connected Phi Tau. The Phi Kappa Tau experience. But what is that experience? It's how you feel when you walk into a chapter meeting. It's the friendships you build and the memories you make. It's the environment we create, one that should be engaging and constructive and fun. It's the value you get from being a part of Phi Tau, what you learn, how you grow, and what you take with you. The experience is what makes a man want to join and what makes them want to stay. And in many ways, it's about getting the fundamentals of fraternity right. And that's why it's the center of our new strategic plan. Because when we make the Phi Tau experience the best it can be, everything else gets better too. If you haven't checked out the strategic plan yet, I'd encourage you to. I think you'll find it valuable. This is likely the most thorough and exhaustive analysis of Phi Kappa Tau we've undertaken in the past 20 years. Thank you to the more than 500 brothers who participated in the membership survey, many of you in this room. We also drew from extensive third-party research to understand the broader environment in which we operate, and we learned a ton. Yes, as a national organization, we have challenges. We're not always delivering the level of quality and consistency that our members and chapters need. We're often stretched thin on resources, and we haven't always communicated well. That's true. We also face complex, often negative pressures on our campuses and society at large. But despite all of that, and this is important, it's clear that fraternities are needed more than ever. Phi Kappa Tau is needed more than ever. You are needed by your brothers, by your peers, and by your campuses. And Phi Tau has a secret weapon. Among the 50-plus national fraternities, we have something that sets us apart. It's rooted in our culture, our founding, and our DNA, and we heard it loud and clear from you, the idea that we're not bound by the status quo or what's expected. From the very beginning, Phi Kappa Tau has stood for something different. As our founder, Taylor Bordell, said of the Non-Fraternity Association, it was a move to eliminate the faults that were in existing fraternities and at the same time retain all of their good features. We have permission and even a responsibility to do things differently and to do them better. I read every single one of the thousands of comments we got through the strategic planning survey, and one in particular stuck with me. It said, "I'm proud to be a Phi Tau. We need to find a way to return on our roots and be a non-fraternity fraternity." And that's exactly what this plan sets out to do. Keep the good, leave behind the bad. Return to our roots and lead the way forward. Delivering the best possible experience to every brother and every chapter, stronger learning, better programming, expanded resources, and engaging lifelong brotherhood. So what does that entail? The strategic plan focuses on 7 pillars divided into core functions and core experiences. Core experiences outline the engagement and impact the fraternity makes on its members, while core functions articulate how the fraternity enables its mission. Let's break it down. 3 core functions. First up, brotherhood and culture. We're cultivating a supportive culture that empowers every brother to live by our values. Second, growth and operational excellence. We're ensuring sustainable growth and effective operations to fuel our mission. Third, learning excellence. We're providing learning opportunities that foster both personal and chapter development. And the experiences, we've got 4 critical ones. The chapter experience, ensuring every chapter is a vibrant place to be. The undergraduate experience, crafting journeys that maximize your personal value and impact. The alumni experience, strengthening alumni engagement for deeper brotherhood and volunteerism. And the national experience, connecting you to our heritage and our national brotherhood. Within each pillar, you'll find clear goals, 31 measurable outcomes, and a range of targeted initiatives to support them. We won't get into all the details right now, but you'll see them woven into the materials and session throughout the week. The plan is action-packed, and it's ready to make a difference. I hope you'll take a moment to reflect on the role your chapter plays in bringing our strategic plan to life. This isn't something happening around you, it's something we're building with you. And your chapter is not a recipient of these initiatives, it's a true participant. The plan does offer new opportunities, better tools, and stronger support, but it's up to you to engage and make the most of what it provides. Lean in, embrace change, hold your chapter to the standards of excellence we all strive for. Be willing to try some new approaches. And just as importantly, hold me, your national council, and your executive offices accountable for delivering on our commitments. Because Phi Kappa Tau strategic plan isn't a document or a vision. It's truly a commitment to every chapter and to every brother. It's designed to strengthen your experience and to support your success. It calls all of us to excellence and distinction, to raise our fraternity to a higher plane, to be an even better non-fraternity fraternity. The impact will be real and tangible, but it will take all of us to bring it to life. So join me, and let's build the Phi Kappa Tau experience together. Thanks.
Thank you, Michael. That was wonderful. So as we were thinking about a lot of new things happening within the organization, the success that we've had over the last 2 years that you've heard really well from Michael and Mike, we thought about what does it mean to be here today in Orlando and to feel brotherhood, to feel that brotherhood and that love that Mike expressed to us earlier. And we got to thinking about what is our strategic plan, the experience that we want, and how do we drive that home? And it really came down to thinking about how brothers can be built to last, how our brotherhood can be built to last, how we can put initiatives and strategies and put our brotherhood in the forefront. And so it made sense to think about and correlate what makes things happen and become built to last. And so there's a natural place. Many of our alumni probably experienced a good to great retreat. I got to thinking about what makes companies successful. If anybody likes Jim Collins, this is another book that he wrote. And he has this undivided attention about looking at the historical organizations and what makes these companies successful. And so we got to thinking about, man, we've got a bunch of new initiatives and new things that truly what we're doing is thinking about how we build our brotherhood and make it built to last. And so I'm not going to sit here and give you a breakdown of the 7 areas that the book talks about, because I'll let you figure that out. But there are a couple of things that I just thought was just so immediate in the forefront of my mind. And so I want you to think about this. Built to Last argues that what sets visionary companies, visionary brotherhoods, visionary chapters apart is not just like a singular product, some charismatic leadership, or some one-time innovation, but deliberate cultivation of enduring values, bold goals, and a resilient culture that fuels long-term greatness. I like the word greatness. That's got a special place in my heart. And I think about resilient culture, maybe. I'm like, what does that really mean to me? Withstanding disruption, adapting to change, recovering from adversity, staying aligned with our core values, our cardinal principles, and valuing purpose. This is what Built to Last is all about. When you line that up with brotherhood and you think about those words in that context, and you think about great organizations, great companies, and what they do, and what makes them truly built to last, I look at this and I center brotherhood right in the middle. Because this is what brotherhood's about. It's about the experience that we have in our chapters, helping each other be better men on our campuses. It's about setting goals when we just didn't even realize what fraternity would bring to our life. It's about the best friends that we've ever had in our entire life. We have a common set of principles, cardinal principles that we value. It's about working with chapter officers and trying to find ways in which we can improve our chapter on our campus. And so that is the things that I think about when we talk about being truly built to last. Part of that is that we have for many years have had a program that has helped us understand how we can be built to last as a chapter. And in the last year, we announced and brought back, restructured, and strengthened the Bordell Challenge, named after one of our founders. And we launched this into the Zenith Officers Institute. We have chapters that are excited about seeing sort of where they're at, because the desire for us as brothers is to see ourselves be competitive against the other chapters on campus, to thrive on campus and do the things that make us great. And so in the infinite stages of building out the Bordell Challenge and helping it be truly a great tool for us, we know that there is a part of it that we want all chapters to live up to a standard, to be built to last. And so we've seen great success in the last 6 months of chapters truly buying into what the Bordell Challenge brings to them and how their chapter can be truly one of the best in Phi Tau. And so the guiding principles that are really kind of built around the Bordell Challenge are seen here. And it's our goal over the next couple of years to continue to highlight more and more chapters that I believe are worthy of recognition for Founders for Maxwell. And these are the tools that can help you and provide you with the insight and the resources to be able to get you there. So, being built on brotherhood, I thought it would be great for us to recognize our Order of the Star chapters. And so, Brother McCrum, if you could join me on stage. Some of these chapters you've already heard a little bit about tonight, but I want to go ahead and expand on that. Our first Order of the Star chapter is the Kappa chapter. Kappa chapter had a 3.3 chapter GPA, recruited nearly 70 men in the year of 2024 with a 97% retention rate. They averaged $93 per man raised in philanthropic endeavors and sent 13 men to volunteer at the Serious Fun Children's Network. Congratulations to Kappa chapter. Our next recipient is the Upsilon chapter. The Upsilon chapter most recently celebrated 100 years of existence, has a GPA of 3.53 with a 90% retention rate and averaged almost 983 hours per man. Congratulations. New to the stage, Chi chapter. Chi chapter averaged 3.2 GPA. Chapter is nearly 100 men and averaging 17 hours for community service. Locally volunteering in community and partnerships like Carolina Tiger Rescue, a wildcat sanctuary dedicated to saving and protecting wildcats. Congratulations. Next chapter, Alpha Omega at Baldwin Wallace. Chapter GPA of 3.4 was awarded outstanding in recruitment and retention on campus, recognized for outstanding alumni relations, averaging more than 50 hours per man for service and averaging over $100 per man in philanthropy. Congratulations, Alpha Omega. Our next chapter, Beta Beta from the University of Louisville. Beta Beta chapter recruited over 64 new members in the academic year. They contributed over $25,000 to Serious Fund Children's Network and have over 150 members. Congratulations, Beta Beta. Our next chapter, Beta Theta, University of Kansas. Beta Theta was just rechartered in April of this year. They served over 930 hours in community service and recognized as a top chapter on campus. Congratulations to Beta Theta. Our next chapter, Gamma Alpha, Michigan Tech. Congratulations. Averaging 147 hours per man in the community service, they are known for the annual Snow Carnival, characterized by snow statues, outdoor games, and student activities. They've maintained a committed alumni group that has continued to focus on Phi Tau's mission. Congratulations to Gamma Alpha. Next up, we've got Gamma Beta, University of Cincinnati. Gamma Beta had a 100% initiation rate, averaged a GPA of 3.28, and have grown 280% in the last 2 years. Congratulations, Gamma Beta. And our last chapter, Zeta Alpha, Belmont. Zeta Alpha is a leader on campus, committed to community service, many hours of community service with a retention rate of their new members of 86%. They have a 3.46 GPA and a model Greek chapter on campus. Congratulations to Zeta Alpha. All right. Just a couple of other areas that I think is important for us as a fraternity to highlight over the last couple of years, as Mike was talking about dedication and service to the fraternity. This week you'll start to learn about more resources around education and ritual. And let me go to the next slide here. There's been a real renewed sense. A part of this new strategic plan is that we want to dedicate, one of the highlights of Zenith Officers Institute, how many guys are at Zenith Officers? Raise your hand if you were at Zenith last year. Wasn't it incredible sitting in a room together and doing the initiation? And you guys are pretty good singers at the same time. I have to admit, it wasn't too bad. Although I was told that there were two versions of the songs going at once, but hey, we tried. But as we continue to look and look through the lens of what we want to do. We want to focus more on ritual and ritual-based education. So we want to just give a great thanks to the committee. They're named on here, but Matthew Grizzle's here with us and their entire team. Congratulations to them and thank you. We will give you more time to provide that tomorrow at our initiation, but we want to thank them for all their hard work in providing more educational opportunities for us to grow into our ritual. Mike said it best, we are the fastest growing fraternity in America. And that's a really special thing. So just give yourselves a round of applause for that hard work. Because of all of that, we are not stopping there. We know that as chapters, you need more resources, more opportunities to teach your members, and more things that we do. And so as a part of our next step in the growth of the resources and things that we're doing, we're going to be announcing our recruitment challenge this week, as well as, and I'm going to show you this. I'm really excited for this. We've just adopted a new resource center that'll allow your chapters to have 24 access to, we've launched this for convention. You'll have an opportunity to start looking at that here tomorrow. But as a part of that, what we're doing is we're going to be expanding all of our resources around all of everything you need to do to be able to operate your chapter. So the starting point is we have a wealth of resources that we're providing. This clicker is not working real well. Where you can go in and do an AI search to find all of the information that you're looking for in regards to recruitment resources. And we have a very aggressive schedule that this will be populated with new resources for chapter officers, for chapter operations, and the whole thing about how to make your chapter better. So we've started with recruitment. We'll also add in alumni advisor materials and resources as well. And here's where I need your help. We know that many times your chapters are always asking, like, what are the best chapters doing? What are the best resources that are out there? Can you send me things from these chapters that are doing great stuff in regards to serious fun or philanthropy or retention? Well, now we have a resource where you can submit your materials, the things that make your chapter successful, and we will go ahead and highlight those items and put those in there for all chapters across the country to be able to utilize and represent your chapter. And for example, we have Alpha Lambda did an incredible job last year where they recruited 50 men at Auburn University and retained all 100% of those guys. And they created last year where they recruited 50 men at Auburn University and retained all 100% of those guys. And their chapters are doing. So this is a really great opportunity for us to be able to showcase and share resources, materials, and information that you can utilize on a daily basis. And I know most of you guys are in college, not at noon or 9 a.m. I know morning. I got some late guys thinking about how do you better your chapter about 2 o'clock in the morning, hanging out with brothers. I know those conversations. Now you got access to that stuff real time. Oh man, let's think, what do we do about this? Well, we've got a resource for you. So again, I encourage you, chapter, and you've got that, and you want to showcase that with other chapters across the country, let us know, because we're sure that we include your in providing the best resources available in this new digital center. So we've talked about recognizing chapters things. We're going to listen to our Maxwell presentations tonight. But one of the things that we wanted to do is we wanted to think about who we believe are built to last. And so I wanted to a couple of really great things for the last year. And so I'd like to welcome Brother McCrum back to the stage so that we can recognize a couple of brothers. The Dwight I. Douglas President's Award is an award that recognizes a chapter president for general administrative excellence and memorializes our honored founder. I've personally got a chance to know this brother, and he's done some amazing things, and so I want to highlight a few of these things for you tonight. His chapter was in adversity on campus. He helped to lead this chapter through a historical relaunch and his chapter returning to campus, positioning it to not just rebuild, but redefine who it was on its campus. He spearheaded a 500% increase in service for serious fun and helped raise $35,000 in transforming a partnership with Flying Horse Farms. He's a dedicated man towards the Interfraternity Council. He's been recognized as the most impactful steward. His chapter has been recognized as the most service-oriented fraternity on campus. He's dedicated himself to his chapter, his campus, serious fun, and has done an amazing job. And I welcome our Douglas I. Douglas President's Award to Michael Wheeler, Kappa Chapter.
So I just want to say thank you for getting this award. It's been really hard, and this is a culmination of not only just our chapter, but our entire executive board as a whole. Everyone put in. We knew when we were coming back to campus, we had to put in a lot of effort to do a lot of good and reconfigure what the Kappa chapter was and what the Kappa chapter used to be, and we knew what success we wanted to have. And that really is just a culmination of all of this. Like, if there's any chapter out there that is growing or brand new or has had trouble in the past and growing, or wants to become better, all of that is possible. And just like you said, 18 months ago, we were not even an active chapter, and now we're a Founders Forum chapter. So everyone out there, if there's any issues in your chapter, you can come out of it, you can build better, and you can have things like this. So just want to say anything's possible, and thank you guys.
The next award is our Taylor A. Bordell Undergraduate Memorial Award. This is presented to any undergraduate member and doesn't have to be a chapter officer during the previous calendar year who contributed to the chapter's overall success, led by example, and demonstrated a true understanding of our brotherhood. This brother launched a chapter-wide accountability system designed and implemented a participation system to address upperclassmen disengagement. He modernized the internal communications within the chapter with virtual calendar, remind notifications, and helping to streamline communications and event reminders. He has personally organized the chapter's attendance of gaining more members to attend national programs. He has dedicated himself to reviving ritual within the chapter. He has served as a team captain in the chapter's signature program, Phi Kappa. I think I got that right. He's mentored countless people, coordinated logistics, and helped lead talent show performances. It sounds like that this brother's doing a lot of great things, and so let's congratulate Brian. I'm going to get this as best as I can. Yakovic Chuck, Upsilon Kappa chapter.
I just want to say thank you. Our chapter has put in so much work over the last year. Prior to me becoming president and the exec board taking over, we haven't performed the ritual in like 6 or 7 years. So I worked really hard with our past e-board. Ali Merchant came for a whole week to do the whole chapter, and thank you Willie P for helping as well. But that was my main goal. We crushed it, and I'm really excited for this upcoming semester.
Tomorrow we will have our Awards of Distinction awards luncheon, and we will recognize more brothers, more chapters for their dedicated service to the mission of their chapters and their respective campuses. So congratulations to these men tonight, and we look forward to celebrating more in the coming days. All right. So a few convention highlights. As most of you, I hope everybody's settled in really nice into your rooms. Everybody's squared away. Everybody's got a hotel room. The wonderful thing I have noticed about this hotel is it's got a wonderful breakfast. I'm sure some of you who've already had the breakfast, it's pretty top notch. So I wanted to just cover a few highlights with you. As you look at the program, all of you should have received a program guide and has all the information in there that will help you carry throughout the week. So tonight, as we close out this session of the opening, we will move right into the Maxwell presentations. My understanding that they are already aware of what order they will be proceeding in, and we will move into that. A couple of highlights just to bring to your attention as far as going into tomorrow. If I've got early risers, your breakfast could start at 6:30. I recognize that some of you probably won't be there at 6:30, but you could start there. But you got to be done and you got to be ready to go, because at 8 a.m. we're going to have our Networking and Career Connect. Now, this was a program that we introduced at the convention 2 years ago, and it was wildly successful. And so I would encourage all of you to make sure you're there at 8 a.m. This room will be converted into round tables, and we will have separate subjects. Alumni, I would encourage you to be there to help navigate conversations about what does it look like to advance your career. We all know that you're here for a time being as an undergraduate, but we also understand that you're going to be thinking about networking and Career Connect and and finding others that are doing the same thing that you want to do. Or maybe you're like me, I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do when I grow up. That's maybe probably why I'm here as CEO of the fraternity. I don't know. But overall, is a great opportunity there. From there, we're going to go into our Fraternity Forward and Brotherhood session. And in that session, we are going to spend some time with you in speaking and sharing with you some new launch strategic initiatives that we look forward to. And Mike kind of teased us a little bit about that, but we look forward to doing that. We're going to recognize chapter anniversaries. We're going to recognize brothers with historical anniversaries, and so there's just a lot of brotherhood and fun that'll come along with that, along with a lot of new initiatives and some exciting things to be able to share with you tomorrow morning. That will be also then highlighted by our funeral and memorial service. That's going to be led by Brother Dave Lipinski, and so we're going to walk through the laying of palms and recognizing all of the brothers that have passed away since our last convention. It's something that you definitely don't want to miss. We have a gentleman that is super excited to become a Phi Tau, and so we will have an honor initiate and recognize him in becoming a new brother. And you'll learn more about him tomorrow, but we're excited to be able to bring him into our inner circle and our brotherhood and celebrate someone who has given back to Phi Tau for decades, who has been supportive and helping Phi Tau advance, even though he wasn't even a Phi Tau. He did it just with unconditional love. And so we'll have our honor initiation and some opportunity to learn about the new resources and education for your chapter. Then at lunchtime, you guys will get hungry about that time, and then we will spend time with our Awards of Distinction luncheon, recognizing all of the chapters for their achievements in the last year, followed by Universal Studios. Who's excited about Universal? Yeah! So you'll have plenty of time to be at the park, ride as many rides as you possibly can, and go from there. On Friday, then we're going to, again, get your breakfast early. There may be some committee meetings. If you've met with your committees as well, just keep in mind you may have some additional committee meetings each morning. But overall, Friday is dedicated to our business sessions. And also for the brothers that aren't delegates, you have the opportunity to go experience some educational programs. So we've got some educational programming that's lined up for those who want to participate. Now, I've been told that some have shared that we are discouraging brothers to be a part of the business sessions, which is really not the case. We just know that sometimes brothers are interested in learning about other things and maybe not so interested in the convention floor stuff. And so what we wanted to do is really just mix in the opportunity for, you guys all send multiple brothers to this convention. Maybe it's a good way for them to get a little bit of education to take home and take and implement some new ideas into your chapter while your other brothers are working on the convention floor, helping make strategic decisions for the fraternity. There's no restrictions, gentlemen. There's never been, there never will be. You're more than welcome. If you don't want to go to the educational programs, you certainly don't have to, and you can sit in the conventions floor. I just want to make sure that everybody's clear. Like, this is just really an opportunity for us to be able to offer some additional things for your chapter to take home as new resources and tools as you go from there. And then, not to forget, we have our Warblers Choir. So some of our brothers, every year, every tradition, we will have a choir that will sing a few songs at our Brotherhood banquet on Saturday night. And I know I can speak personally, it's always a joy to be able to listen to the songs of Phi Tau. I know in my experience, sometimes it's the first time hearing songs you've never heard before, and so it's just a real fun experience. And so I know many of the alumni come year after year and enjoy being a part of the Warblers, and so there's some meetings for those as well. And that will wrap out your Friday. Saturday is all educational sessions in the morning. We've got a good group of brothers that are headed to Boggy Creek, and they'll all be back in time for our Serious Fun Luncheon. We've got some great guest speakers lined up to speak to us into serious fun, and they double down that we've done in our strategic plan to continue to dedicate our time and energy to that strategic partnership. And that's pretty much the highlights that we have coming up. You will have an opportunity, if you have any questions about that, please see the staff from there. Also, in your registration packet, there was a voter's guide added. I think the QR code, did we already show that? Yeah, there you go. If you want to learn a little bit more about how we're planning to, there's a lot of legislation that's in front of us, some really important decisions, and so in your packet you've got the voter's guide from there. So just wanted to kind of keep that in your, and if you have any questions about that, please let us know. But that's sort of the process we're going to try to go about within the legislation on Friday. We do have our strategic partners here. So we've got Custom Ink, who manages our official Phi Kappa Tau store. We've got Fired Up. We've got PopCam. So this was something new, and we had an okay success at Zenith Officers Institute this year. But you guys all look really good in your suits and ties. Over in the hallway between here and where the committee meetings were earlier today, is the PopCam. And so we're going to try to attempt to create a convention composite. So, and it's going to be a live composite so that as you take your photo, you're looking your best, as you got your photo up there, then you can post your composite picture for the convention. And I think it would be pretty awesome if we were able to, at the Brotherhood Banquet, share a full composite of all the brothers that attended the convention and make this a historical component of our history of showing everyone who attended. So it only takes a few minutes to do your picture. The really cool feature of this is you can use this for actually your professional photos, your LinkedIn page, and all that other stuff. So I would just encourage you to do that as well. Okay, couple of announcements before we go. I think I really only have one. So each time that we have a convention, a Zenith Officers Institute, one of the things I always try to remind our brothers is that we as fraternity men late at night get a little loud and sometimes a little rowdy. And our other hotel guests sometimes don't like that. So I just remind you just to be courteous and recognize that when you think you're being quiet, you're probably not. But we really have no problems. I get so many comments about brothers and their behavior at a convention, at an officers institute. I hear staff all the time tell us that your men are so respectful, such kind gentlemen, and we just love having your organization on our property. And so I expect nothing different this go around. In fact, surprisingly enough, we typically, in my history of doing conventions, end up having more problems with guests seeing, oh, guess what? There's a fraternity here. I'm wondering if I could get a comped room. And so we've strategically kind of put you in the hotel so that if people on another floor kind of call in and be like, hey, I'd like to get a comped room because it's really loud next door, the hotel has the ability to be like, well, we don't even have any of those guys on your floor. So anyway, just continue to be uplifting men to our hotel staff, and we thank you in advance for that. Oh, double for the alumni. All right, so before we ask Brother McCrum to come back up and get us kicked off with the Maxwell Award presentations, I want to ask Tyler Godfrey to come on up. I need everybody to stand up for a moment.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'd like to lead us on a little special thing here. Hoorah! 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 Woo! Thank you, gentlemen.
Before everybody walks out, I want to do something kind of fun. It's not something that we get a chance to do every once in a while. Brother McCrum, come on up here. Michael has been a dynamic leader in our fraternity for so long and has given his life's devotion to the fraternity. And I think it's one more thing. It's not probably very often that this happens, but as Michael has been national president, he also celebrated his 50th anniversary as a Phi Tau. And so on behalf of the national fraternity, we congratulate you on your 50 years of membership into this blessed fraternity.
Okay, guys, I'll take a seat. We're now going to go right into Maxwell so we can go forward, enjoy our brother stories, learn what we can. If you got to go to the bathroom, completely understandable. Please come back. These brothers want our support, deserve our support. Man, we're losing everybody here. You know what? I'm going to take a 5-minute break and we'll wait for you guys, all right? ready? Yeah. We ready to rock? Let's go, guys. Let's go, everybody. Please have a seat. Please have a seat. We've got some exciting stuff here. All right, well, here's the deal that my thinking about these Founder Fours, in my view, each one of them, from all that I've read, deserve the Maxwell. They're all outstanding chapters, man. And so there's no losers in this thing, man. We just look up to you. We're excited about the work that each one of these chapters is doing, as well as other chapters, all the chapters of the Order of the Star and whatnot. And so this first chapter that we're going to hear from, Kappa, you guys start making your way up here. I think, do we have everybody here? Ready to roll? They're probably in some planning session for their next activity, right? Their philanthropy? Yeah, that's what they're doing. Well, all right, we'll wait for them. Kappa is a very cool thing. A couple years ago, there was a lot of talk about Kappa and the house and all that stuff. And I went to Louisville and toured the house back in the fall of 23, right after I was elected. And we were trying to get a BOG put together. And I have time to talk about this because we're not ready to begin because they're not here. So we're trying to put a BOG together, and Matt was there with me, and Sam Medley was there, and I talked to some of the officers of Kappa there in the house, and I said, you know, it would please me more than anything. It wouldn't, I don't know how you put that phrase, but it would so please me that if we came in 2 years from now at the convention and everybody could see what a great job Kappa chapter's done, because people were so worried about Kappa back in 23. Well, I have nothing to do with who gets on the Founder Four or anything, so my preference didn't make a difference. But I can just tell you that I'm so excited that they're one of the Founder Fours. They've shown to our Phi Tau world what great guys they are. But also, are they here yet, the Kappa guys? No? They're holding them hostage? Okay. Well, let me tell you then the story of the BOG, because that's a great story. So we're looking for BOG guys for Kappa, and there was Kappa alumni that were busy and tied up, and we really wanted to get these guys some guidance, you know, as all chapters need. And so we put together a group of Transy alumni there in Louisville. There was about 5 or 6 of them, right, that met with us and have dinner. And we go on and on about Kappa, and they need a BOG, and how you know, there's a lot of eyes on that chapter. How's it gonna do and whatnot, and so there's gonna be pressure on that chapter to do well and whatnot. And so at the end of the dinner, a couple of the guys looked at me and they said, Mike, man, we appreciate, you know, everything that you're trying to do, but I mean, we're Transy guys, you know, we'll help Transy chapter, but you know, why don't you go get some Kappa alumni, and why should we do this? And I looked at him, I said, because we're Phi Taus, and they need you. And they looked around the table, it didn't take 2 seconds, said, okay, we're in. It's a great story, man. They stepped up, and it was great, and these guys have had the guidance they needed. And so we ready to roll, guys? Kappa's ready to roll? All right, you're on the clock. Let's do it.
Good evening, brothers. I am Michael Wheeler, and I served as the chapter president in 2024 for the Kappa chapter.
My name is Ryan Sullivan. I served as the vice president for the Kappa chapter in 2024.
So just a little bit of background about who we are. We were chartered in 1920, at the University of Kentucky, and we're just one of 22 different IFC fraternities at UK's campus. It's a very competitive fraternity campus with over 23,000 undergraduate students. Also, we have 135 members, and this is an IFC chapter average member size of 82. And also just a little bit more about our chapter. We have brothers from over 17 states and also brothers from outside the U.S. And really why we're here is because we've been setting the gold standard for what it means to be a safe and service-oriented chapter, not just on our local community for the University of Kentucky, but also nationally for all of Phi Tau.
While we're standing up here today as a Founders Forward chapter, we cannot ignore our past. We came back to campus about 18 months ago after a one-semester suspension. And when coming back, we had a lot of guide rails from both the National Council as well as from our university. And while we had to follow these and make sure we were checking these boxes, we also had an internal drive to make sure we were bettering ourselves as a chapter beyond just those regulations and boxes to check. So that first thing we addressed was our risk management policies. That was the reason what led us down some problems before, the reason for our suspension. So we made sure to address that problem first by introducing things that we weren't necessarily doing before. That came to registering events, putting more focus on having more sober monitors, as well as doing wristbands and guest lists to some of our social events in order to make sure we were following these rules. And that first part about registering our events, that is something that we really took a lead on coming back to campus. In the past, our campus had likely been more so to kind of not be proactive in registering events, meeting with the university, talking about the events that they're going to be hosting. But when we came back to campus, we realized that was a problem that led us to our suspension, so we made sure to address that right away, being proactive in that. And that led us to being honestly called by the FSL staff a model and a mentor chapter as far as event management and risk management, as well as registering these events. We started leading other chapters and telling them how to register these events, and really making sure that we were being kind of leaders in our own community to help other chapters on our campus not fall down the same hole that we fell down once.
And like I mentioned first, not only are we a model for chapter safety, we're also a model for giving back and serving our community. So at the University of Kentucky, philanthropy is a really big part of the campus. Some of the two biggest philanthropy events that happen are hosted by some of the most well-renowned organizations on campus. So we knew when we were coming back on campus, we needed to do as much as we could to do as much philanthropy as we could and get involved with not only just Serious Fun and donating money to them, but also getting involved to other organizations, going up to sororities, fraternities, and be like, hey, how can we get involved with you? How can we join your events to help raise money for your organization, not just our own? And as you can see, it led to some great success with over $31,000 raised in 2024, with a good amount of that going to Serious Fun. And not only did that allow us to just raise more money for people outside of our organization, but also allowed us to pair up with a lot of people we would have never paired up before, partnering with over 15 different campus organizations. And we also, not only did we host events with these organizations, we also made it an effort to participate in other organizations. As I mentioned earlier, we have 22 fraternities on our campus, 14 sororities, and many other FSL organizations. So with a lot of events to be able to participate in, and some of the ones you see where at the top and at the bottom are two different events we participated in to raise money for domestic violence awareness, as well as we hosted various events like car washes. We have created a reoccurring event with Pi Beta Phi, Phi's and Valentine's, to really just grow our presence and just have a continuation of events to show who we are as the Kappa chapter that we serve and raise money. Also, part of that is serving our community. First, we had over 3,500 service hours in 2024, and not only did we really make a big effort to serve Serious Fun, but also we made an effort to what can we do in our local community, what can we do on our campus to serve, and that started with volunteering at local food banks to raise money for them, collaborating with the local Kentucky Blood Drive to host blood drives for them and kind of promote it as well, and also cooking food at a Ronald McDonald House, as well as at our biggest part, which was the volunteering at Serious Fun camps, especially Flying Horse Farms, and that's when we were recognized by our FSL for Service Event of the Year for our trip up to Flying Horse Farms in the fall for their family camp.
So as we mentioned, philanthropy is a huge part, and Serious Fun is definitely the cornerstone of our giving. As you can see, some really great numbers. We had 15 different brothers attend 10 different camp sessions between August 2024 up until last week. We had members there. We have a full-time staff member. You can see kind of pictured there in the paint. That's one of our full-time staff members, Braden. And then Jaden, our philanthropy chair, was there volunteering at their gastrointestinal and mental health week just this last week at Flying Horse Farms in Ohio. And that really shows that we put in a lot of effort. You can see 1,300 volunteer hours. You know, our guys were going to camp and really dedicating themselves both when they were at camp and then bringing it back to our campus. You can see that we created the Serious Fun Volunteers Club at the University of Kentucky. And that came from partnership with our chapter members working directly with Serious Fun's headquarters in order to start a campus organization that kind of brings the mission back to UK by getting more volunteers, more money donated, and then just kind of working on spreading the mission, not only to the Kappa chapter, Phi Kappa Tau, as well as Delta Zeta at the University of Kentucky, but other Greek organizations and beyond that to those non-affiliated with Greek life at all. So that's been really something that we've put a lot of focus on. And you can also see too that we had the honor of representing Phi Tau at the Serious Fun Gala up in New York City this past April. CEO Matt Arnold invited me and Michael to that event, and where we were able to meet Paul Newman's daughter Clea and talk to her a little bit about what the Kappa chapter was doing to fund or to get more volunteers there, to raise money, as well as talk about what undergraduate Phi Tau chapters can do to kind of continue to support the Serious Fun network. And this kind of all leads us to us winning the Camp Ambassador Award, which we received from Flying Horse Farms for our continued dedication to getting volunteers to camp, as we had mentioned before.
So the past couple slides really have been a culmination and the recap of all the success we had in 2024. And when we were given the prompt for this presentation on what is the culture of Kappa, how was this culture continue to have success for our chapter, we really focused on 4 major points which we have covered like in the past couple slides. And first of all, it is safety. Like Ryan mentioned, safety has been our #1 priority since we have returned from campus. Not only is it just the safety of our brothers, it's the safety of our events, but also all of our guests and any other external stakeholders that might be involved with our chapter as a whole. And once again, or move from safety and kind of continue on that gold standard of service. We are men of service to the Kappa chapter. We know that we need to serve our community in any way possible, not only just in the local community, like we mentioned with the slide all about the service we have done, but also that's serving each other, serving our fellow brother, and also serving our community in our IFC community by showing other chapters how to have safe events and everything like that. And also we understand it takes a lot of effort. Ryan and I, and as well as our exec board and the rest of the 130 men in the Kappa chapter, have worked very hard to get to where we are today. And we know to have continued success, we are going to have to continue to work hard and continue to improve every single year. And also, like to wrap up, like some of our core values, it really ends on accountability. Like when we were suspended from campus, we had to take a look into ourselves and are we the chapter that we want to be? Are we the chapter that when we tell people we are the Kappa chapter of Phi Kappa Tau, are we proud of that? And kind of looking into ourselves and realizing what we wanted to be, and kind of continuing that mantra of continuously looking at ourselves in the mirror and kind of being those men we want to be will help us have continued success. And at the end of the day, this kind of culminates into our culture acknowledges the past, and we use that to create a brotherhood based off unconditional commitments, not only to our fellow brothers, but our local community and our future success.
So now that we've really established our culture, we have to reinstate it each new year with new members as well as to our returning members. And that starts off with our recruitment. So in 2024, we recruited 70 new members with a 96% initiation rate. And that comes from a lot of, preparing to make sure that they are ready to be in our chapter. We have a high set of standards to bring people into our chapter, and we make sure that they meet those standards. Not only that they will fit into our culture, but they're going to elevate that culture in the years to come. And through those programmings that we really try and give back and put back into them, during their 8-week new membership process, they're going to receive a lot of academic support, from weekly study hours to peer mentoring, to also really kind of rounding out their experience, from workshops on professionalism, getting involved on campus, meeting brothers that are in their major or in their college, trying to give them helpful advice on what to do in certain classes or with certain teachers or anything like that. So it's been really helpful to do stuff like that, and it's really helped round out our members and make them better members after their new membership process ends.
So also, we want to make sure that every time we bring new members in, they are fully invested into the men we want them to be. But also, our chapter is a lot bigger than just our new members. We need to constantly be reinvesting into our current members, and that really goes along with involvement. We are very stringent on getting our members involved, and that's led to having brothers in leadership positions in the Interfraternity Council on our campus, in student government, as well as Dance Blue, which is the largest student-run philanthropy organization in the SEC. Furthermore, it's important to recognize successful academics. We have various initiatives in our chapter to promote those brothers who have done well with academics, while giving them a free steak dinner, which is a very, very nice for them. As you can see in the bottom picture, that's one of the group photos we took after one of those dinners. And also like Academic Fantasy League, where we allow brothers to compete in like a friendly teams to compete with GPAs. This is one of the, like, if someone wants to like take notes, this is one of the coolest things we've done. Ryan made it himself. It's one of the best things we've done as a chapter, to kind of build up more competition and friendly competition with academics. And then also we understand that college is only 4 years. We really want to create all of our brothers as a well-rounded man, and we understand that has to do with focusing on their life post-grad. So whether that's helping them with their current involvement or their current resume, helping them like find different opportunities or find different internships, and then also like with different interview prep, because a lot of these organizations on campus, you have to interview, you have to apply, helping kind of, especially with like that new member process, helping them form a resume, get involved early, allows them more opportunities down the line. And also we understand the social aspect of fraternity is very important. I'm sure everyone that can agree with that here. But also like we give brothers that opportunity to have fun socially and kind of bond with each other through various date parties with different organizations on campus, as well as watch parties for various events.
So as we've talked about a lot of things where we hit that mark, you're going to hear that a lot tonight. All of these chapters that have met these Boredale metrics, they have all hit the mark on a lot of metrics. That's why we are able to stand here as a Founders 4 chapter. But really where we see ourselves kind of moving in front of other chapters, both on our campus and both nationally in Phi Tau, that comes to our commitment to risk management. Specifically on our campus, as we had mentioned, we have earned kind of the ability and the respect from the FSL community for guiding members through, or guiding IFC chapters through registering events and making sure that they are meeting the standards that the university is requiring, as well as just ourselves. Being able to be a leader in that has given us kind of more credit with the university moving forward, which has been very helpful for our chapter. And then also our commitment to service. At the University of Kentucky, as Michael had mentioned, service and philanthropy is massive on our campus. And our ability and our commitment to Serious Fund puts us ahead of a lot of other chapters. A lot of chapters just are able to write a big check to an organization that they're never really able to commit that much time to seeing who they're really affecting. But working with Serious Fund, we had the opportunity to go to camp, whether that be a fall family camp or a summer camp, and meet a kid that is struggling with some sort of illness that we can't even comprehend dealing with at that young age, and seeing them catch their first fish, or seeing them do something they've never done before, pushing them outside their comfort zone. We had that opportunity to make that impact that not every other chapter can do. And within Phi Tau, we have been the front runners and the leaders of that. We have really pushed that both through the Laurel. We've had opportunities to speak in there about our involvement, as well as on social media. We have really pushed that forward coming back from COVID. Our chapter has. So we really do try and take both the small chapter aspects that a lot of our Phi Tau chapters have, with our average size being a little over 50, and then putting it into a chapter size of about 130, using those large resources, but also really caring about that small chapter vibes as well.
So looking to the future, we obviously understand that all the chapters that we'll be speaking today have had immense success, but also we need to be built to last and built for success. So like some of the areas where we've had a lot of success this past year, but also could have continued improvement, is some of our alumni engagement. We had one of the first one of our biggest alumni tailgates this past fall, which was an immense success, and we look forward to continuing to build on that, as well as continued parent involvement. I mentioned earlier about some external stakeholders. Those are extremely important to our chapter. Being able to have moms weekends or parents weekends and invite family members into our brotherhood and see how we act as a chapter really allows us to really build a bond, not just with the brothers, but the entire family. Furthermore, more large-scale events, being a chapter that has had success on our campus and has been recommended by FSL staff for various organizations to partner up with, and frankly, sororities that we would have never thought would even have been in this, mentioned us in the conversation with, now wanting to pair up with us at this moment has been just put us up for success, and we'll have continued success there. And also, we understand there's some areas to improve, but there's some things we are really good at. At the end of the day, we have really been strict on who we recruit and how we recruit to make sure that our chapter is built to last and is continued for success, and we're bringing in the men that we want to lead our chapter in the future. Furthermore, investing into our members as we can continue to fully round out our members and give them every aspect of what a fraternity can give them. We know we will give them better men, and as the shirt out there says from the foundation, if we can give our members more than they could ever give back, that was one thing we want to do, is so when they graduate and they're alumni, they can come back and be like, the Kappa chapter was one of the most beneficial things I ever did in my life, was join the Kappa chapter. And also, we have to understand remembering our past. We've talked about it a little bit, but with our suspension, there's mistakes that were made with event registration, and if we continue to understand that and remember our past, we can continue to improve and make the right decisions to always stay safe, always keep our community safe, and our chapter safe as well. So, yeah.
So finally, we just want to say thank you, not only to all of you all in the audience that have taken your time to listen to our story, but also to the 135 men back in Kentucky that have put in so much work. Michael and I get to stand up here and tell you about our successes, but it really is to the credit of all of them and their hard work over the past year. So I want to give a thank you to them and a thank you to you all.
All right, we will now judges.
In the past, I've noticed that a chapter will win the Maxwell, and then the following year, or 2 years, 3 years, nowhere near that level again. You just talked about how you want to do that, but how confident are you that you can keep? You got you here, exec boards.
So I think our main thing, as well as our commitment to portion. While we have a small sample size after the 2024 cases, and that's not something that's very commonplace right now. We both work in the IFC office on the IFC, coming in left and right and saying they don't love to talk about it, but that's just kind of the nature of the University of Kentucky's kind of system right now. So we've really worked hard on making sure and solidifying that portion. And then as far as our service and commitment to serious fun and stuff like that, that has been a centerpiece and really a driving factor for our chapter. As we had mentioned, 15 brothers have gone. 13 of those brothers are returning this year. 11 of those brothers will be here for at least 2 more years. So that commitment is there well beyond the graduating class here that just graduated, or when me and Michael graduate next year. It is here to last for sure.
Gentlemen, really excellent presentation. And congratulations on all the work that you've clearly done. In the spirit of being here at a national event, our convention, and particularly in the unique situation that you're in, where you literally have another chapter across the street, how are you living that mission of the larger national organization and sharing your success with the chapters around you?
Yeah, I would say, so if you would ask any of the FSL staff members at the University of Kentucky, and they ask you what is Phi Tau, what's the Kappa chapter about, they would mention to you how, even though we are one of the larger organizations on campus, we have the right resources, and we use those resources to help our community and help everything we're a part of, if that makes sense. So we use our large numbers to promote serious fun to our chapter members and allow them to volunteer and spend their time learning about what it truly means to be a Phi Tau, which is to lead and is to serve. Also, since we do have, like you can see, a great house, we have great resources on a large campus, we have access to collaborating with a lot of different organizations, which allows us to kind of continue to grow our brand and continue to submit ourselves as a philanthropy partner.
And then also, as far as like being a Phi Tau national chapter and really partnering with them, one of those main things that we've worked on speaking on is that serious fun aspect. Michael had the chance to speak at Zenith this past January about how serious fun can better your chapter. We've also had the opportunity to speak at our regional conference about serious fun commitment and really talking about how that can better your chapter as a whole by giving your guys something to commit to on the weekends during the summer and stuff like that. It's definitely an area that we can improve on by bringing more chapters into our community and into our chapter house, but really we've tried to advocate for things that we think could help chapters that have been in similar situations like us, and that's kind of how we meet that mark.
Hey guys, I just wanted to say again, great presentation, very well spoken. I know it can take a lot to keep the brothers on track, especially when you talk about beating the metrics for the Bordale Challenge. I know you talked about risk management and philanthropy. If you had to narrow it down to one category to keep the brothers on track, which category would you say worked the best?
I would say when it comes down to like our chapter, what we really saw this past year is that not only did our members want to be here when we returned to campus, like we actually grew, but also they bought in physically and financially. So the 2 semesters, we had 100% dues collection rate from all 135 members. So that just shows to us that no matter everything we're doing, we're pushing our brothers to be better. They want to be here and they want to continue to improve because they care about being a member of Phi Tau.
As a former treasurer, I appreciate that collection rate. What, as executive board members, are you going to take away from being a brother of Phi Tau? I know there's all these metrics for the Bordale Challenge, but what are you guys going to take away when you graduate?
I think honestly it's finding a purpose. Probably just about everybody in this room is a part of their executive board, has been a part of their executive board. It's not the easiest, especially when you have to create big changes like we had to coming off a suspension. It required a lot of effort and a lot of commitment, but really finding something that we were passionate for has led us and really kind of simplified what life can be at times. Michael and I, in this past fall, when we were kind of nearing the end of our terms, we were struggling. We were getting to that end of the rope for sure. And then we found out that they did a fall family camp at Flying Horse Farms, and we were like, we need to go to that. Like that's the mental reset we needed. And that was because like that was the thing we found our passionate for. We've really dug that into being a niche and part of honestly our DNA is who we are as people. But finding that passion to get through some of the hard times and push through those moments and to really find that thing that at the end of the day, that's what you're happy to kind of get through to the next. So that's what being on exec has taught me.
I'm gonna add something to that real quick. I would say like for me, when it comes down to like what I'll take away from like my time, especially as an executive board member, I think personally, I almost took it as almost like a disgrace that our chapter went through such turmoil like during suspension and the way like we were talked about because everyone didn't know the whole story of what happened. I kind of took it as a comeback story because these guys in this picture, like these are our family. Like I consider these guys, these are my brothers. Even I know there's 135 of them, but they're all my family. And just being able to bring our family to a place like this where we are recognized by the entire national fraternity as a top chapter is something I'll always take a lot of pride in, and just continuing to improve our name and improve our chapter as a whole.
So thank you for the presentation, as everybody else has said. You talk about recruitment, minimum of a 3.0 GPA. What services did you offer academics to keep your academics up?
So I was a scholarship chair right prior to our suspension, but I kind of held on to that being part of who I was and part of our chapter. And really a lot of those things we did was during kind of weekly study hours, we would kind of work with checking their GPAs and making sure that they were meeting with, people with similar classes. One thing that I try to do with a 135-man chapter, it's not always the easiest to track everybody's classes and everybody's grades and everything like that. But one thing I focused on was telling everybody, hey, send me your schedule. I'll compile them, figure out what classes you guys have that are overlapping, whether that be at the same block with the same professor, or whether it be the same subject with different professors at different times, or some sort of combination of the three, and kind of tell them, hey, this is somebody you can study with. This is a study partner, that's going to be able to help you. And then just kind of that constant, drive to be better. That academic fantasy league that we started, it was just an ability to put people on a team and say, hey, you guys are all kind of now responsible for each other's GPAs. The higher GPA, people on your team are going to have, the more likely you're going to win and get money. So really just kind of creating incentives, but also creating those resources and that ability for somebody to lean back on you and kind of help them out. Yes, so it was just something we tried to do. It may not have happened every week necessarily, but it happened just about every week. Something that we thought was an important aspect, whether that be, a presentation on involvement, or a presentation on, academics or serious fun, or, positions in the chapter. We'd come up and talk about our positions, just give them ideas of more things that they may not be privy to before coming in, or just going through the process. We would really sit them all down and allow them to ask questions and really work through it with that.
I think also with that, when it comes like an example of a presentation we get, like our new member education team gave, was that when we gave the presentation on serious fun and going to volunteer, we mentioned that there is opportunities for Flying Horse Farms to volunteer, and we were just like, hey, no one here is required to go. If anyone here is interested, stay after and we'll talk about it more. And over half of that associate class stayed to talk more, and eventually I think 6 of them went with us to the camp. I think that was 2 weeks later. So it just kind of goes to show that we're recruiting members that want to continue to improve, continue to be involved with Phi Tau, not just locally but also nationally. And those members and recruiting members like that will keep us successful for the long term.
All right, let's clap it up one more time for Kappa.
Thank you, Kappa. Next chapter up is Upsilon chapter from Nebraska Wesleyan. Come on up, guys. Did y'all see the silver shoes with the red tips?
Good evening. Before we get started, we would like to thank the awards committee for recognizing Upsilon as a Founders Forward chapter. It is truly an honor to be considered with Kappa, Beta Beta, and Gamma Beta chapters for this prestigious award. My name is Riley Cleaver, and I am the current Vice President of Health and Safety of Upsilon. Joining me tonight is Brandon Wright, our current secretary. Slides aren't changing. Yeah, I'm pressing the green one. That one? There you go. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. In our time as members of the Upsilon chapter, we have learned that many people have heard of Upsilon. They've seen us at conventions. They know of our name, but very few know of where our roots truly come from. Upsilon, as part of Nebraska Wesleyan University, a college of just under 2,000 students, has continued to breed success. How has our tiny school continually competed with these big-name universities? It has everything to do with a culture of excellence curated by our alumni and passed down from pledge class to pledge class. As Upsilon approaches its 102nd year as a chapter, we have produced 5 national presidents, 5 Schuyler Award winners, won the Maxwell 8 times, and have been named Founders for 12 times in the last 13 years. None of this has occurred by mere chance, but is instead the continuation of our culture instilled in every member that has walked our storied halls.
Upon reflecting over the past year, 3 strings have stuck out to us on what sets our culture apart and has given us the opportunity to present here tonight for the Maxwell Award. These 3 strings, woven together, create a cord of brotherhood that represents Upsilon. These 3 strings consist of recruiting and developing our members, pushing for involvement in our campus and our local community, and strengthening our bonds with our alumni and our parents. The first string of the cord of our brotherhood starts with prioritizing our first impressions with potential new members and providing them with the necessary resources to truly come into their own. Since Upsilon is a much smaller university, it gives us the unique opportunity to specialize and personalize the process. No matter where the students' interests lie, they have a place at Upsilon. All Rush events are held on campus, so we often hold laid-back grill-outs, late-night breakfast feasts, transform our basement into an underground casino, and tear up our backyard as we play volleyball, football, cornhole, and our favorite water wiffle ball. Every student has an opportunity to find something they enjoy, and it gives us the ability to really get to know the potential new members and find out if they would be a great fit for our chapter. We don't want Upsilon to only be involved in sports or academics, but to be a melding pot of individuals who want to serve an organization greater than themselves for the betterment of the community and the university around us. 2024 brought us one of the largest recruitment classes in Upsilon history of 25 new associates who all made it through their Men of Distinction class, or MOD class, and were initiated into our chapter. Our MOD curriculum is designed to have all of our new associates meet weekly with the Membership Orientation Officer and go through the course to completion to further grasp our values and what is expected of them as members of Upsilon. Many of these men said that the MOD class truly helped solidify them as a member of the Upsilon chapter, for it will be their home for the next 4 years. From my experiences through recruitment and MOD class, this was where I met my best friends and began to grow and make connections with the upperclassmen. Our MOD curriculum requires the associates to interview 3 upperclassmen and then present those interviews to the whole chapter. It gives them an opportunity to begin their first steps in building lifelong friendships, as well as uniting our chapter as a whole. Another hit of our MOD curriculum is bringing in sorority women on campus to talk about how to be a gentleman through their point of view. This allows us to cultivate a great relationship with the women on our campus and also grow connections outside of the university. At Upsilon, we expect our brothers to hold each other to higher standards. To help the new guys create bonds with the older members, we put on a lot of brotherhood events during the year. These range from small get-togethers in our basement to chapter-wide events that are designed to promote brotherhood throughout our chapter. A chapter favorite that we put on every year is called Brother to Brother. This is where we all sit in 2 long rows of chairs and we face each other. And we talk about and answer questions asked by our brotherhood officer. After every question, one of the lines moves down 1 chair so that each person gets to talk to as many people as possible. We love doing this as it gets us to get to know the younger guys and have conversations with the guys that we might not get to catch up with as often. Brotherhood plays a key role in the success of our chapter, helping cultivate relationships most would never have made in college if they didn't join our chapter. The first year of college is not an easy one for many students because they struggle with the transition from high school to college. This can cause a major strain on the mental health of our members. So we work with our house mom, Sandy Marsney. She is a mental health professional, and she institutes our Wellness Recovery Action Plan, or we call it WRAP, to understand our triggers as well as stress relievers, so we can help understand how to better help ourselves and those around us. This program is loved by many and is a massive hit for us as we work on being vulnerable with each other and growing together. With this newfound strength in ourselves, we can turn this into the academics and our organizations around us. The academics of Upsilon we consider a paramount importance, as it is the reason that we are all here at college to begin with. We host weekly study nights, as well as connecting brothers to those in the same major as ourselves to create support groups. Over the 2024 the men of Upsilon finished with an average GPA of 3.57. This is a number that we take great pride in. At Upsilon, we support each other both mentally and academically.
The second string consists of pushing for involvement on campus and around our community through leadership, philanthropies, and community service. At Upsilon, a common standard of practice we expect from our members is to go out and show that we are leaders. 91% of our chapter was involved on campus in something outside the fraternity, like the Interfraternity Council, student government, and various clubs and organizations, while 55% of those men were in leadership roles in those organizations. We do not want our members to stop at our fraternity when it comes to being leaders, but continue that beyond our halls and into the rest of our campus. Out of our freshmen, we had 6 that quickly stormed into leadership roles in their first semester on campus, and 22 of our 25 new members got involved outside of our fraternity. On top of this high level of involvement, we have 52% of our members involved as student athletes. It is hard to walk the halls of Westland and not encounter a man of distinction leading the charge wherever their interests may lie. The past year, 6 of our members, including the 2 of us presenting tonight, here committed to be new student orientation leaders on our campus. This was absolutely instrumental to our recruitment success, and we will continue to do this for years to come. At Upsilon, we are leaders on campus and love to be a part of something greater than ourselves. The 2024 year also brought us great success among all Greek life on our campus, as well as we were crowned Greek Week winners for that year. Greek Week is a week dedicated to showcasing what Greek life on our campus can do. During this week, many of us dedicated hours of our time to events held every day. We created a meaningful banner to hang on our campus, built a cardboard boat to race against the other chapters, and ended the week with a lip sync competition where we placed first among all fraternities and sororities. During this week, the men of Upsilon show that they are willing to compete and showcase our skills to the entire university. When other guys think they might be too cool to get dressed up and dance on a stage, the men of Upsilon are willing to sacrifice their time to create a winning performance. At Upsilon, no matter the task, we step up to the plate and put our best foot forward. Upsilon men do not stop at our own university. We continue into leadership into our community. We host many philanthropies throughout the year dedicated to raising money for serious fun. We host events like transforming our house into a haunted house where people can walk through, partnering with Chick-fil-A to host our semesterly Chick-Philanthropy, and putting on Phi Kappa where people come and select a member to pie in the face. We stand out on our own campus because we do so many different events so everybody can find something they enjoy. We want people and even our own families to come and have a good time in support of those less fortunate. Over the 2024 term, we raised over $5,500 with $4,000 going towards serious fun. We're also active servant leaders as we host a campus cleanup as well as serving at many of our local organizations such as our local People's City Mission, where they collect clothes and other items for the local homeless. We gave up over 1,500 hours of our own time to dedicate it to helping those who are in need. We even had one of our members serve at 2 separate serious fun camps over the summer. At Upsilon, we find joy in serving those that need it the most.
Our last string that finishes and strengthens the Upsilon cord is our tight bond with our alumni and our parents club. They are the ones that really create and continue our culture of excellence. Every year, we send our brothers into the graduate council, but our relationship doesn't stop there, as we continue to cultivate those relationships through many events, like our big Founders Day event that we put on every year, alumni tailgates, and the homecoming banquet. Another way our alumni support us is through our Board of Governors. Our BOG understands what a special place Upsilon is, and they have been instrumental to the success that we have had as a chapter. Through their guidance and support, we continue to breed our culture of excellence. Without our outstanding alumni that have walked these halls before us, we would not have created the culture we have today. John Green, one of the most outstanding Upsilon alums,
was the Phi Tau National President for 3 years, and then served as the Chief Executive for 11. With men like John Green setting the standard for us at Upsilon, it empowers us to do everything we can to honor their legacy. At Upsilon, we continue to build ties with our brothers even after our time at our university ceases. In this day and age, fraternities get a bad rap, with a lot of scrutiny, and many parents do not want their children to even consider joining a frat. To show them that we are not like the news headlines, we host a Mom and Dad's Day to bring our members' parents to the house to showcase what we are all about and how we hold ourselves to a much higher standard than most other fraternities. We also have a strong centered parents club that also supports and provides over the course of the semester. They support us in going far and succeeding here at Upsilon and NWU. They help garner support for our philanthropies, fundraise for new things around our house, and host parents' lunch meals where they bring in food for us all and create goodie bags for us in preparation for finals. This support is felt throughout our chapter and encourages us to stay focused on our academics and involvements. At Upsilon, we strengthen our ties to our alumni and parents and continue to listen and learn from them. These three strings come together to form our cord of brotherhood that represents everything our chapter stands for. A cord of 3 strands is not easily broken, just as our values as a chapter run deep throughout our brotherhood.
Upsilon has continued to have a culture unlike any other fraternity. When we were chartered in 2012, Upsilon alumni, parents, and most importantly, nationals really made a huge impact on what we were able to accomplish during those crucial rebuilding years. We owe a lot to you all and try to repay our debt by living up to the high expectations that were left by those who came before us and showing this culture to all of our potential new members. Many of our members had never planned on joining Greek life, and people never see us as stereotypical frat guys. I personally told my mom I would never join a Greek organization, but here I am presenting to you tonight. Ever since I joined Upsilon for the first time, I could tell these guys were different than anything I had ever imagined. The culture we have here of holding ourselves to the highest of standards in regards to academics, philanthropy, service, and leadership is what brought us here today. Throughout the last term, every week our chapter would meet to discuss our Bordeaux metrics to ensure we're meeting the standards necessary to succeed. To us, those weren't just boxes for us to fill. They were people that we could help, money that we could raise, and money that would last us, memories that would last us a lifetime. For the last 100 years, this has been our standard, promoting brotherhood and service to showcase that even at our tiny university in the middle of the Midwest, we can compete with the biggest universities out there for the Maxwell Trophy. For the next 100 years, we will continue to bring into our chapter men that are going to rewrite the status quo of what the world thinks of fraternity men, and we will continue to breed our culture and create a brotherhood built to last. Thank you for your time and consideration.
We'll now take questions from our judges panel.
Okay, I'm asking every chapter this question. A lot of times a chapter will win the Maxwell, and then there'll be a falling off the following year or two. Almost like, okay, we won it, so let's do something else, or let's not keep it going, it takes too much effort. Do you guys anticipate anything like that? How do you expect to combat anything like that? How do you expect to keep your trends going that got you here?
I feel like when we look at Upsilon's history, in the last, 13 years, we've been founders for 12 times. I think that when it comes to getting these, it's like a reward for how we've been acting, or like what we've been doing, what we've been helping out with all of our Bordeaux metrics and everything like that. I think that we keep pushing because of all the support that Nationals has given us. When we rechartered, you guys helped us out an immense amount. Our BOG was extremely helpful. We owe all of this to you guys, and that kind of standard has been set to us, it's been shown to us, and it's something that we continue pushing forward into the future.
Excellent job, really great work, and you spoke to the consistency of your chapter. It's really incredible, and you should be proud to be standing on that stage. My question is, since we are here at convention, it's a national event, we're all together, many chapters. How does your chapter live that sort of national brotherhood and share your success with other chapters?
I think we live up to nationals every year because we prioritize sending our guys to every single possible event that nationals can host. We have 4 guys go to Zenith every single year. I believe we send 3 guys to the Leadership Academy that was held early this summer. And so we really prioritize making sure that we send guys to those national events and they bring back to us what they've learned. After every single national event, the guys that go, they come back and they present to the entire chapter what they learned, what they talked about, so our entire chapter kind of gets a grasp of what they brought back to us. And I feel like setting that kind of standard and then like taking what nationals can give us and then bringing it back and seeing how we can prioritize and use in our own chapter, I feel like that's really pivotal to us.
So you guys are definitely following in your alumni's footsteps, being able to present as a founding 4 chapter once again. What do you believe truly sets you apart this year than your previous years?
I think what sets us apart this year compared to previous years was our historically really high class. We brought in 25 new guys. We actually did that without a recruitment chair. We found out that he was dropping over the summer and he was transferring to another college because he couldn't afford to stay at Westland. And so I feel like that kind of bonded us all together. We all took it upon ourselves to be our own recruitment chairs. And I feel like that's what bred us success because it's not dependent on one guy of our chapter, but all of us coming together to unite for that common goal of and like bringing in all those new guys. And we are tremendously successful with all of our new guys.
What do you guys think that your non-e-board members, what is their biggest takeaway from being a brother?
What was that?
For those who are not on e-board, they're just like general members, what is their number 1 takeaway?
For what they would say, or
what do they gain from the brotherhood?
Oh yes, absolutely. When I was coming in, I didn't expect to be in any leadership positions. I wasn't gunning for that kind of stuff. I just wanted to kind of see what was going on. But instantly, when I joined the chapter, it was just kind of that sense of brotherhood that hit me like right in my chest. I just felt a sense of belonging. Everyone was open. There was no harsh judgment, anything like that. So I think even if you don't decide to go for the exec positions or going all the way to nationals, you're not that guy that's doing everything. You absolutely have a belonging in our chapter, and everybody wants to live in the house. Everybody wants to be at the events because of that culture, that brotherhood that we have. I think that's one of our strongest things that we hold dear in our chapter is our brotherhood, our sense of belonging that we give to everybody.
And also to add on to that, I think that especially with like our brotherhood that we've created, all 4 of us that have come from Upsilon to represent to here at Nationals, we're all like just going into our junior year, and we've had such a strong class. Our class especially climbed those ranks. So all of those 25 new freshmen we brought in, very few of them ended up in roles, and so that's a big part is like trying to make sure they feel like Upsilon is a home where they can be. Just because they don't have like those officer positions to keep them intact with us, it can kind of be hard to like lose ties or fall out with the rest of the members. And so like our brotherhood events we host every week, we try to like do everything we can, and then also these guys are all out on campus doing things that they love as well. And so trying to make sure that we can prioritize like their school as well as the fraternity, and make sure that we're being providing for them on all anything they need. That's what we have.
Thank you for your presentation. You spent a lot of time talking about parental or guardian involvement. How do you recruit the parent or guardian involvement?
Did you say recruit or improve?
Recruit. How do you get them to become involved with your chapter?
Yeah. So I think when we bring these new guys in, we always tell them that, hey, we have moms and dads days, and
It's harder because they don't live out in the house the first year, so a lot of guys just don't want to come to the house for something like that. And so we were like, hey, it's a lot of fun. Like, I think this past year we made bouquets with our moms, and that was a big hit. All the moms loved it. And so bringing them in for events like that, and then they get to intermingle with the other moms and talk about, hey, like, every month we bring these guys food. Do you want to come help us? And you want to like buy some fruit or make some sandwiches? And then the moms are like, sure. And then so like having the parents that we have that have already set that standard, and then we bring it on to talk to the other parents that come to those events, and we continue to breed that. It's kind of just like how we got recruited in the chapter. Our parents are doing the same thing for us, and so we continue that culture through the years, and our parents provide for us as well. Our president of our BOG, Mike Monroe, his son is actually in our chapter, and so his mom had headed up our BOG for a while, and so that had that great connection between our BOG and our parents because they had a son in the fraternity. Yeah.
All right, that concludes our question and answers portion.
Thank you, guys.
Everybody give a big hand for Beta Beta at Louisville.
Hi, my name is Josh Schulten, and I have a major in industrial engineering.
Hi, my name is Nick. I'm majoring in psychology.
My name is Braden. I'm a major in sports administration.
And this is Beta Beta's presentation for the Maxwell Trophy.
So the most important thing in our chapter is recruitment. So in the past year, we recruited 62 new members in the fall. We had a yacht ride for our rush event on the Ohio River. It was the largest rush interest on campus. We had the largest class size on campus, and we also were the only Greek organization on campus to go with 100% bids accepted. And then in the spring, we had an alumni cocktail, and we had 10 bids accepted out of 11.
And second most important thing of our chapter is our new member process. As newly elected member orientation officer, I specifically wanted to make our Brotherhood retreat more fine-tuned than previous semesters, and we updated our itinerary and planning for this upcoming semester. And then one of our favorite ones is our candlelight pass. So that's to get brothers and new members acclimated to the chapter, as well as sharing what makes us most unique. And then lastly, our Greek life involvement. We put an emphasis on participation with IFC and PHC and Panhellenic chapters across campus.
And then just to dive a little bit into the brothers that make up the chapter, we hold a lot of diversity. The graph you see on the screen is a breakdown of all of our majors, with the biggest one being engineering. And we are also the most ethnically diverse chapter in our IFC.
And then previously, I was Brotherhood chair for our chapter, and we instituted a candlelight pass for our brothers. So just as new members, we share what makes us most unique, and so it gets brothers together, and they share what makes them what's happened in the past month. And so we have that monthly. And then our intramural sports, we have an emphasis on that, using sport and activity to build team bonding with the brothers. And then our bi-weekly Brotherhood events, whether that be a paintball trip or a campfire hangout at one of our residences, we always like to do that, and it builds bonding within our Brotherhood.
So within the past year, we've put a strong emphasis on returning to our traditions as a chapter. So this year, our chapter has made a goal to involve rituals and traditions from Phi Kappa Nationals. Using these resources, we're improving both morale and involvement within the chapter.
Moving on to our leadership and how we cultivate that within our members, it starts with the top. It starts with the president and the vice president. And the presidential outlook on leadership is that he holds an emphasis on holding executive members accountable, as we found it to be the truest and tried way for the chapter to embody a culture of accountability. And a few examples of this are like routine progress checks for each EC member, chapter check-ins with our mental health chair and group, and open lines of communication with our standards board. And then the vice president, his outlook is a continuation of that emphasis via a full focus towards internal hierarchy of the chapter. A few examples of this are supervision of chairs and their goals via weekly and bi-weekly meetings, and direct communication with standards boards and their hearings.
So moving on, as Sergeant of Arms, we had to improve our risk management. So we took a lot of big steps this year, using an identification app that can scan both cardinal cards, which is our student ID, and then our real IDs, which is used to grant entrance into social events. We revamped our risk management task force, which is headed by myself and our risk management chair. And it's also composed of 30 to 40 brothers that are actively supervising events and enforcing the necessary safety parameters during them. We're implementing more consistent and open lines of communication with both the Dean of Students and the Dean of Student Conduct. And then, due to efforts made by the Executive Council to incite a more positive relationship with the campus officials following a probation period in recent years.
To continue on with risk management, we work very closely with two organizations on campus, the Green Dot organization and the Men of Peace program at U of L. Just a little backstory on these two organizations. They're men's clubs. They focus on informing men of mental health awareness and also bringing awareness to sexual assault and sexual harassment and relationship violence. And this is a very integral process in very integral thing that we incorporate in our new member process and our everyday chapter life. We really pride ourselves on regularly attending their meetings of mental health awareness and instilling those principles in our daily chapter life.
And stepping into our financials, we'd taken off nearly $30,000 in debt. We took off more debt in chapter history and nearly cut our chapter's national debt in half, from $85,000 to $50,000. We managed and collected nearly 130 members in both local and national dues, and then we also stayed within our $1,000 of our budget. Our executive council created and stayed within our semester-long budget and helped contribute to that chapter revenue. And then we began implementing Greek Bill into our new processes.
Moving on to our alumni involvement, we produce monthly newsletters to update alumni on events and calendars, which includes surveys for alumni initiation dates, professions, and donations. And they can be contacted through an alumni contact book that's accessible for the whole chapter. Events to connect the alumni include annual Phi Kappa golf scramble, which is 18 holes, silent auction, and awards that help raise money for a serious fun dance show. We have a pre-rush yacht event on the Ohio River, and then we have an alumni tailgate in the fall and alumni cocktail in the spring.
And then going towards our academic, last year's academic accomplishments, we formed an academic council including representatives from each grade level and academic unit. We introduced the chapter academic advising system, and that increased our GPA, and our biggest gains were on our median GPA.
And then moving on to philanthropy. Philanthropy is something that we hold ourselves very highly on. Starting with our Serious Fun dance show, and I'll start off by saying that this past year we raised $25,000 with over 600 donors, and we were able to accomplish that by kind of reinventing a similar idea that U of L already holds. Something that they do is called Freiburger. It's a dance and singing show competition that everyone on campus participates in. It's very popular. And we took that idea, we reinvented it with Phi Kappa, and we made it towards our own philanthropy. We invite everybody on campus out. We had over 500 participants this past year. We have the other Greek organizations come out and support and create their own dance routines. We relax the rules that Freiburger has very intense rules, and we relax those rules in order for the dance show to be a lot more fun and inviting. It's always successful, and this year was our greatest success that we've had yet. A few other things that we do are our serious fun golf scramble, and that's just a tried and true, simple, fun, and competitive event for active brothers, alumni, and family and friends. This past year, we had over 18 teams and numerous sponsors. And then at the end of the spring semester, we hold a beach week, which is just a week-long series of events promoting fun and philanthropy. We had hundreds of participants this year, and they all enjoyed the activities and contributing to the cause. And then here are just a few more pictures of our brothers at these philanthropy events. The picture on the left is our brothers at the golf scramble, and then the one on the right, the two brothers on the outside participated in the Serious Fun summer camp, the Flying Horse Farms for Serious Fun specifically.
And then our external leadership has grown, specifically in the Student Government Association. In 2023, we were only holding the engineering president, and then going to 2024, we held the executive vice president, services vice president, Senate speaker, engineering president, and two senators. And improving upon that, in 2025, we held the executive vice president, services vice president, Senate speaker, two senators, the VP of College of Education, the Art and Sciences VP, and also the College of Business VP.
Continuing on with that, we're going to go into the Interfraternity Council leadership. So the Beta Beta chapter has prided itself in its involvement within our campus leadership organizations. So back in 2023, we only had the position of the VP of Recruitment. In 2024, we added the Vice President and the DEI Chairman. And then in 2025, we held the positions of the IFC President, VP of Recruitment, and then the Director of Membership Development. And then, so this involvement is one of the key components to the culture we have not only created, but plan to maintain, as we have the highest representation of any Greek organization, both in student government and IFC on campus. And then we also support our teams by hanging up banners to welcome potential recruits during visits. We have a positive relationship with basketball coach Pat Kelsey. Our Beta Beta chapter hosts a variety of events with Men of Peace, which includes survivor walks for victims, lunch and learns, broga, trivia nights, etc. And then we also support local businesses around campus and raise money with percentage nights.
I'm not sure if we'll be able to get the video to work, but that's a video of Pat Kelsey saying Rush Phi Tall, and we thought that was pretty cool.
Rush Phi Tall.
Yeah.
Rush Phi Tall.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. But these are my guys. They said they're going to come to games. They said they're going to tell other students about it. Rush Phi Tall. Hey, I'll say it anyway.
To conclude, the brothers of the Beta Beta chapter have understood that complacency is failure. We have continued pushing for the mutual betterment of the lives of every man who walks through the chapter house doors. Thanks to the continued efforts of every member of the chapter, Beta Beta has not just maintained what was achieved before, but has continued to improve upon the foundation. This chapter remains committed to continuing the upward trajectory it has been on in recent memory, and this is the culture that we will not only maintain but continuously build. Thank you.
We will now move to questions from our judges panel.
Okay, I'm asking every chapter this question. A lot of times when chapters win the Maxwell, the following year they are not back in the hunt for it. They've lost the motivation or whatever got them here in the first place. So do you see yourselves finding a way to combat that and continue to do the things that got you here in the first place?
I think so, and I think you can already see that with us being in the Founding Four. I know that it's very hard to repeat as Maxwell winners, but I think if there's any chapter capable of doing that, it is us. We have the leaders in place in our chapter who are capable of riling up the group and getting us motivated again and maintaining what we have already built and the processes that we've already instilled within our guys year in and year out. With Rush and philanthropy, the two biggest things that we try to emphasize, we are always really good at selling that, and it's always a really good thing to sell to new members. They see the Rush process, they want to be a part of it, They see how well we do with philanthropy on campus. They want to be a part of that. And I think that's how we can continue to get back into these conversations.
Really excellent job that you all have done. It's really impressive work, particularly being back up on the stage after last year's win. That's sort of a rare honor. So really excellent work, and I just want to highlight that for you. You mentioned Serious Fun. You've raised a lot of money for them. Really excellent work. What is your on-site involvement with Serious Fun?
First of all, thank you, and great question. Our on-site involvement with Serious Fun goes as far as the Serious Fun camp over the summer. The picture that we had up was our picture from last summer, but this summer we had more participants, and we plan on having more next year. 2 years ago, we didn't have a lot. I'll be transparent about that. It's been continuous growth year in and year out, and I think as more guys go to that camp, and see the impact that we are making, not only by just raising money, but being in those kids' lives, they're able to come back and tell the rest of the guys, hey, this is something that we really do need to be a part of.
Once again, congratulations being back up here. I'm happy to see that you guys didn't go downhill, but you guys are still trying to excel. And I'm fine if all three of you guys answer this question too, but what do you believe is one thing your chapter truly offers to you as a brother? What are you going to take away once you guys become alumni?
For me, it's loyalty. I can look at we have roughly 140 people in the chapter. I can look at every single one of those faces, and I can trust them with anything. I think loyalty is the biggest. It's what's made us so successful. It's why I continue to strive for greatness with Phi Tau. It's the loyalty that I share with them and they share with me that makes me want to continue while I'm an alumni.
For me, I would say it brings me family. So for me, I go to school about 16 hours away, so I don't get to see my family that often. So seeing these brothers day in and day out, they're there for me whenever I need them. And even when I don't need them, they're always still around for me. So I'd say they bring me comfort, happiness, all that stuff. And they're just there and a part of my lives when I need them the most, and they bring that sort.
I think what I get most of it is just the growth out of everyone, not only myself, but seeing the people around me as Brotherhood Chair, and then also new member officer, orientation officer. I get just to see the growth from when I first met them to what they are now and what they provide to not only the chapter but the people around them. Is really great to see, and like the love that they share with one another. As I get the most out of that.
Good work on being back up here after last year. You guys said that you're going back to your roots in terms of the ritual. How closely are you guys following the ritual?
As this newly elected membership orientation officer, I want to really go back to the books provided by nationals that are held in secret by our chapter, and use that and use the resources that they show and what they've proven in the past to work and bring people together into the brotherhood. I think using those resources during this new process, I think that would bring more of the traditional role back into it.
Thank you for your presentation. You were talking about academics and how it's increased. Could you talk about how you've had them go up this year, your GPAs and your support for the students?
Sorry, could you repeat the second part of that question?
Just how did you help your brothers increase their GPAs? You said they've gone up dramatically with your chart you had.
Yeah, so our recent VP of academics, he created a system where whether that be College of Business or College of Arts and Sciences, he creates individual groups, and he has representatives of each grade level, so 4 people in each community, and they hold sessions with people that are struggling within that college, and so they provide resources what is happening and why are they doing poorly, and how we can both help them study or help them with assignments or anything like that, and how we can provide the best thing. And it gives nuanced information to them from coming from people in their business or college.
I would also like to add that the least fun part of academics within a fraternity is grade checks, but they are the most important when in terms of improving grades. Having somebody else looking down your back and seeing your grade makes you want to work harder on your grade so that you're not embarrassed, and that's been very successful for us.
All right, let's give it up for our Beta Beta chapter at Louisville.
Thank you so much.
All right, last but not least, Gamma Beta from Cincinnati. Give them a big hand.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here today. My name is Travis Smith, and I have the absolute honor of being the president of the Gamma Beta chapter of Phi Kappa Tau at the University of Cincinnati. Before I begin, I want to sincerely thank the judges and committee members for your time and for giving chapters like ours the opportunity to share our story. I also would like to recognize the other finalists here today. Your dedication to your chapters and to this fraternity as a whole is truly inspiring, and it's an honor to present alongside you. Today, I'm excited to share what makes Gamma Beta's brotherhood so unique, how we've grown, what we stand for, and how we've created something truly special here at UC. Before diving into the heart of my presentation, I want to start with the foundation that guides everything we do, our chapter's mission. At Gamma Beta, our mission is to build a lifelong brotherhood driven by honesty, character, and competition. Each member leads by example, earns what he strives for, and contributes to the legacy we are building together. This isn't just a statement we put on paper, it's a mindset we live by. It shapes how we recruit, how we lead, how we hold each other accountable, and how we grow as individuals and as a chapter. Every decision we make and every tradition we carry forward is rooted in this mission. Our brotherhood isn't surface level. It's built by deep, genuine connection. We fight like brothers, we laugh like brothers, and we show up for each other like family. Whether it's late night talks after hard days, lifting each other up through personal struggles, or celebrating life's wins, there's always a sense of belonging. Every brother in our chapter knows each other on a personal level. Beyond just names and a handshake, we know each other's strengths, struggles, and stories. That depth of connection is what makes our brotherhood so special. It's a connection rooted in compassion, accountability, and love, not just during the good times, but especially when things get tough. That's what makes our brotherhood different. It's not just friendship, it's family, and it's for life. One of the most powerful examples of our brotherhood in action is our continued support of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Light the Night Walk. A few years ago, one of our recent alumni and a very good friend of mine lost his father to leukemia. This loss hit home for all of us. Since then, we've made it a chapter tradition to honor that legacy every year and volunteer our time to help set up the Light the Night Walk. And we come together to raise money for this cause. This past year alone, we raised over $700 for LLS, as well as another $1,000 to the American Cancer Society. We do this not for credit, but because that's what real brotherhood looks like. Another example is one of our beloved alumni is currently battling a serious illness, and every brother wrote a personal message of support on one of our rush shirts. We mailed it to him as a reminder that no matter how far apart we are, he's never facing anything alone. When one of us is hurting, we all show up, and we always will. Our brotherhood thrives on a blue-collar mindset, one rooted in grit, humility, and the drive to build from the ground up. When I first became president, our house was in rough conditions. We literally started remodeling our house from the basement up. And I think that's become a perfect reflection of our values. Just like our physical space, we focused on building better men from the foundation, helping our brothers grow from kids into leaders, into adults who take ownership of their lives and their impact. We're not just shaping a stronger chapter, we're laying the groundwork for something that lasts far beyond our time here, developing men of character into men of distinction. In our chapter, brotherhood means more than just support. It means pushing each other to be better. We challenge each other to stay focused, to level up, and to hold ourselves accountable in everything we do. During chapter, we take time to celebrate wins, like announcing new jobs, internships, or recognizing brothers that made the dean's list. But we also don't shy away from the hard stuff. When a brother is slipping, whether it's grades, finances, or personal challenges, we step up, we offer study tables, financial support, and one-on-one accountability, because no one gets left behind. We also encourage everyone to lead, not just in our chapter, but across campus. Whether it's stepping up for a chair position in the house, or stepping up in another student org, we believe every brother has the potential to make an impact. On page 62 of our membership manual, there's a clear outline of what it means to be a Phi Tau man. And I strongly believe in our chapter, we believe that every brother should live by those principles, day in and day out. On this slide, you will see a timeline of how we build our brotherhood. It starts the moment a new associate joins. From day one, we focus on instilling our culture and values, things like accountability, humility, leadership, and loyalty. We never recruit GPA boosters or just rich kids. We look for people who want to be true brothers, who care about building real friendships, and being part of something bigger than themselves. Through mentorships from their bigs, as well as consistent guidance from our exec board, we build them up, we challenge them to lead, to grow, and to contribute. This associate experience isn't about proving themselves to us. It's about us investing in them so they can carry on and strengthen the deep brotherhood we've worked so hard to build. Every associate process includes an event we call defining moments. It's one of the most sacred parts of our brotherhood. During that night, everyone opens up, sharing their stories, their struggles, and the moments that shape them. It's a chance for brothers and associates alike to be vulnerable, to be seen, and to show that we've got each other's back, no matter what. One of the primary ways we strengthen our brotherhood is through meaningful shared experiences. We intentionally host at least one sober brotherhood event each month, such as paintball, bowling, or two-end touch football, to foster connection, trust, and community in a fun, inclusive setting. Even our philanthropy events bring us closer. During our Splash of Phi Tau event, where you can pay to throw a water balloon or dump a bucket of water on a brother to support serious fun, what followed was an impromptu water balloon war among our members. This was an unforgettable, genuine moment of brotherhood that captured the spirit of our chapter. We also participate in the intramural sports Greek Cup, allowing brothers from different grades to bond over sports. And additionally, we host several family events, things like Parents Weekend, as well as Dad's Day and Mom's Day, which we just started this year, that have been a huge impact and allow our brothers to interact with one another's families, further strengthening our community ties. Finally, we strongly believe that living together plays a vital role in cultivating brotherhood. Shared spaces lead to organic moments of support, growth, and connection. Whether through late night conversations, collaborative study sessions, or simply spending time together. While we encourage all our members to live together, our chapter has grown well beyond the capacity of our current house with our recruitment rate. To meet this need, we've established several annex houses nearby, ensuring our members can still experience the benefits of close-knit living. Our chapter places a strong emphasis on wellness, balance, and communication. We are intentional about not overscheduling our members to prevent burnout and maintain a healthy balance between academics, leadership, and fraternity involvement. Open communication is a pillar of our culture. We strive to ensure that every brother feels heard, respected, and included in the life of the chapter. At the core of our efforts is a deep commitment to creating a supportive environment. We want our brothers to grow and lead, but just as importantly, we want them to feel supported throughout that journey. Whether it's a challenge at home, in the classroom, or in life, our brotherhood is built on the promise that no one has to face it alone. One of the most defining aspects of Gamma Beta is our upward trajectory. Just 4 years ago, we were a 13-man chapter, and when I rushed 3 years ago, we only had 17 members. But in the past four years, we've worked our asses off and turned into a 40-person chapter, and we're not slowing down anytime soon. With that kind of growth, leadership at Phi Talk carries real weight. Every decision our leaders make directly influences the future of the chapter, creating a deep sense of ownership and pride that's rare on our campus. But we don't just grow in numbers, we grow in character. We're proud to be one of the most inclusive fraternities at UC. There's no single mold or type of person who joins our chapter. We value authenticity, and we welcome individuals from all walks of life. Even in our events, we're intentional about inviting people outside the chapter to be part of what we're building, because we believe great brotherhood is something that should be shared. At the end of the day, Gamma Beta is a chapter built on hard work, but also a chapter that knows how to have fun. Our strong internal drive is matched by a vibrant, welcoming energy that defines who we are. Socially, we've built strong relationships across the FSL community. We paired with Phi Mu for homecoming last year, and we're excited to pair with Theta Phi Alpha, the largest sorority on campus, for this upcoming year. Homecoming has become one of the most exciting and inclusive traditions, bringing together over 50 alumni from 7 different Phi Tau chapters, many of you here today. We also have a reputation for being active, visible, and connected. Whether it's hanging out in the lawn, hosting open events, or getting loud in Greek Week, we show up. Last year, we even won Greek Week, thanks to the highest attendance and the most points scored. And we consistently place in the top 5 of the Greek Cup standings. Gamma Beta is more than a chapter. It's a brotherhood that's bringing energy, excellence, and authenticity to everything we do. Once again, I want to thank you all for being here and giving me this panel to talk.
We will now open it up to questions from our judges panel.
This is a variation of what I've asked all the other chapters. Being here, a lot of times when chapters win the Maxwell, the following year they're not in the hunt again. They're satisfied. Right. They're not motivated. How do you plan to build on the fact that you are here?
So me and my exec team has actually been working very hard on this. It's something we want to extend, is like the legacy we're creating. This isn't something like a one-off. Like, we want this to last. We're really trying to build and create Phi Tau as a Gamma Beta as a lasting chapter. We've done this in several ways. To start, we've started mentoring our younger members and setting up things like basically boot camps for positions. So I'll bring a bunch of guys that are interested in being president, and we'll talk, and I'll tell them everything I know and let them ask questions and let them learn, as well as encouraging them to take leadership positions in other organizations, since there's not as many opportunities at Phi Tau all the time. This allows them to build on their leadership qualities and grow as members. And yeah.
Well, I just want to thank you for telling us a little bit about your chapter. really impressive growth, really impressive improvement, and I know that that does not come easy. So thank you for putting in that effort and growing your chapter and making it something special. You mentioned raising money for Serious Fun, but we have a special opportunity that we are able to actually go and physically help and be a part of our national philanthropy. Tell me a little bit about your involvement with the on-site camps of Serious Fun.
So unfortunately, I have not been able to make it to a camp, but I am planning on going to one this upcoming semester, as well as I rewrote our bylaws requiring all of our exec and chair positions to attend a camp during their term. So this is something I feel very strongly about, and that making sure everyone attends it. I know a few of our members have attended in the past and have really had a good time, so I'm really looking forward to going to my first one and hopefully going to several more after that.
You mentioned a big increase in recruitment, so congrats on that.
Thank you.
What do you, let me see how I want to word this. What would you say was really worked for you? What made those changes? What did you guys do to go from, I think you guys said 13 to 40 plus?
Well, for one, we had a great recruitment chair, and he put a lot of work into it, and he's been really he worked a lot with Ryan on a lot of methods and things we've learned, as well as going into our FSL and talking to our IFC and ways that have worked for them. I'm also a part of a organization we call Phi Kappa, which is about expanding the Greek community as a whole at UC, and I've learned a lot of strategies from that we have been taking in. Things like using Chapter Builder has been huge. Just the big thing has been name generation, finding those names, things like just Instagram, reaching out to school counselors, getting a list of names from high schools and things like that have really helped, and we've set a lot of guidelines that are going to help future recruitment chairs down the line.
I love that you said that all of your brothers, or most of them at least, live together. I mean, a lot of our guys live together. I lived with a brother even though I didn't live in the main house. I think it's very important. I've also been in a chapter that's had 2 guys at one moment in my life. And going up to 20 guys, and hopefully another 20 in the following year, Lucas. What's your biggest takeaway from that? What are you most proud of?
I think the biggest thing I'm proud of is just filling our house year in and year out, because I've lived in the house for going on my 3rd year, and it's been the most fun I've ever had in my entire life. Just those moments you get to spend with those guys, you really truly make friends for life, and that's something I want every member of my chapter to have and experience, because it truly is where I've made some of my best friends. So I'm very, very proud that we filled the house and started to form some annex houses around to help keep everyone living together. Because I think when you live together, it's hard to lose your interest. You're with those guys all the time. You always want to be around, and you just Mr. McCrum said earlier, talk those late night conversations that turn into what can we do to make the chapter better. Those are always good conversations that always occur.
Thank you for your presentation. One of your slides was iron sharpens iron, and you talk about participation for growth. Can you just go into that a little bit more and talk about more what you did and what your plans are for the future?
Yeah, so, we've had members grow from each other, just sitting in a room together, learning things from each other. What the takeaways I brought back from Cena 2 years ago, I brought and I shared with everyone in my chapter. Just the simple things, it's not always have to do with the big scale things, but just simple ways to grow, to be a better person, to do better in class, ways to deal with any issues at home. These things are easy to share, and I think our defining moments, which I talked about, is a big way where we can talk about our struggles and things that we've gone through, and it's a good way for other brothers to learn from those things and just become better people as a whole. That's a great question. that is something we struggled with a little bit at first. You know, people making cliques and inner groups. Like, we had a lot of guys from Indianapolis that became friends really quickly. But I think what we did was try and find ways to mix those groups up. Things like intramural sports was a great way. Find guys that love to play basketball, put them all on a team together. You know, those guys outside those cliques, you know, coming together and bonding over something completely different than what they bonded over before. And I think that's been a really good way we've been able to mix everyone together, is just finding ways to include them in things where they're not with, like, what they would consider like their close friends or their cliques, and make everyone close.
Let's give a round of applause for our Game of Beta chapter.
All right, thank y'all very much. Have a good night tonight. God bless y'all. We'll see y'all in the morning.